Welcome to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum on a very sunny and warm late Saturday afternoon, where the Tampa Bay Bandits of 7-3 take on the Los Angeles Express 3-7. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire, and Paul, the Tampa Bay Bandits come in with a running game that they unveiled last week against the champion Stars, a running game that they hadn't used all that much until lately.
Well, the biggest problem so far this year is that everybody's been teeing off on John Reeves. So what they're going to try and do, and they found out it worked last week, give the ball to Anderson, give the ball to Boone, let him run the ball for a while. They did at the end of the game last week and held the ball for over 10 minutes, surprised everybody.
Gary Anderson, we're used to him having 100-yard days, but Greg Boone had almost a 60-yard day against Baltimore last week. For the LA Express, they unveiled their best running attack of the season last week, right here in the Coliseum against Portland, and it's Mel Gray and Kevin Nelson doing the job.
Well, now, again, we've got the same problem because people are teeing off on Young now, and they know he's got a bad knee, he has a bruised thigh, so LA realizes that they can also run the ball. So this may be one of the fastest games we've ever done on Saturday night.
And, of course, they'll have to do a better job, the Express, in protecting Steve Young. That offensive line, injured, has given up 49 sacks this year. We'll see if they work it out tonight as the LA Express meet the Tampa Bay Bandits on ESPN. Kickoff coming up next on ESPN. You're looking at Zenon Anderson kicking off to open this game between the Tampa Bay Bandits and the Los Angeles Express, and Kevin Nelson, one of two deep men, takes it at the 10-yard line. A short kickoff. Nelson's got some room. Kevin Nelson going to do some business down the right sideline. And Anderson knocks him out of bounds deep in Tampa Bay territory at the 35-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the LA Express. The starting offensive unit for Los Angeles, Steve Young will be the quarterback. The running backs are Kevin Nelson and David Hersey. The wide receiver, JoJo Townsell and Dwayne Gunn. It'll be Gordon Hudson starting the tight end. The offensive line, Gary Zimmerman, Derek Kennard, Mike Ruther will be the center, Ed Fisher the right guard, and Mark Addix will start at right tackle. I'm sorry, not Mark Addix, Ed Fisher at right tackle. Addix is out with a knee injury. We'll get into the injury problems later on. So, Paul, right away, the Los Angeles Express with excellent field position.
What a way to start a game, but that wedge opened up right in the middle about the 30-yard line, and Zenon Anderson shows he is still an excellent athlete. Only just because he's a punter and a field goal kicker, he's still a good athlete.
Kirby Warren and Mel Gray are the starting running backs. We were told that Warren would not start. The handoff is to Gray, and Gray picks up about 4 yards, tackled at the 31-yard line. Tampa Bay Bandits running him down near the far sideline. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Making the tackle for the Bandit defense that time was Mike Clark roaming over there. The defensive unit for Tampa Bay, it'll be Walter Carter, Fred Nordgren, and Mike Clark up front. The linebackers, James Harrell, Al Richardson, Kelly Kirchbaum, and Alonzo Johnson. Defensive backfield, Alvin Bailey, Marcus Quinn, Dwayne Anderson, and Bruce Vaughn will start this game in Los Angeles. 7-3 are the Bandits, 3-7 are the Express. 2nd down and 6 yards to go for LA after the opening kickoff. They give us to Nelson. Steve Young handing off to Kevin Nelson. He is near the 1st down, as James Harrell, left outside linebacker, veteran of the National Football League Detroit Lions, comes in to bring him down.
But when you take a look at it here, now you go see Nelson. He wants to go outside, Tom. There's just no place to go, so he goes back to the inside. Harrell makes the tackle. I think LA is going to have a lot of trouble trying to get to the outside because you're looking at outside linebackers like Harrell and like Alonzo Johnson, and they really don't want to run at Alonzo Johnson, number 58.
David Hersey, they list him as an H-back. He's really lining up to the top of the screen in the slot, and now he's in motion. 3rd down and 1 for the Express. They give us to Nelson. Nelson stumbles. He is close to the 1st down. May have gotten the 1st down. Alonzo Johnson was on top of him. Also in there, Al Richardson. So the linebackers bring him down, but it is the 1st and 10 for LA.
And we're looking at the key to the game, too, because we talked about it in the opening, Tom, that these two teams really would like to run the football. And you're going to see Nelson. He just cuts back to the inside. Now, this play was designed to go inside. He got an excellent block up front. Pick up the 1st down. They have not thrown a pass in 3 downs.
1st and 10 for the Express on the 25-yard line of Tampa Bay. JoJo Townsell now into the ball game. He's split out wide to the top of your screen. And in motion goes Dwayne Gunn. Young rolling left. Under some pressure now. Got to get rid of it. Dumps it out on the flat. It is incomplete. Incomplete, intending it for Dwayne Gunn. Alvin Bailey, the right cornerback, was in the area. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And that time, Steve Young with a flak jacket running for his life.
He's got a flak jacket, a knee brace, and a bruised thigh. And he's not going to run the ball. Take a look at here comes Kelly Kirchbaum, number 51. And then you're going to see Harrell come up, number 50. And they had the pressure. There was just no place to go. When you see number 58 on the outside, who is Alonzo Johnson, he moved off and covered Kevin Nelson, the swing back, and he's got enough speed to do that.
2nd down and 10. Yes, John Hadel, head coach of LA, really likes Alonzo Johnson. Called him one of the best linebackers in the USFL. On the 2nd and 10, just a single setback as Young is straight back to throw. Got plenty of time this time over the middle. It is complete to JoJo Townsell. First and goal, Los Angeles. Inside the Tampa Bay 10 at the 9, Marcus Quinn. The all-USFL free safety comes over to make the tackle. Well, that time, Young had a lot of time, Paul, and with JoJo Townsell, you can't allow that combo a lot of time.
No, Steve Young, he's got excellent time here. Take a look at the offensive line blocks well. Here's Young now. He's going back and he's looking not all the way. Look down the middle first, and then he came back and he sees JoJo Townsell, but look at where he throws the ball. In the middle of all those red shirts, but Townsell was wide open. Marcus Quinn was not there. He's the safety. I don't think he's the man that should have been on him. I think the man was Bruce Vaughn, number 30.
So it's first and goal for the LA Express at the Tampa Bay 9. And here goes the pitch out to Kevin Nelson. Faked the halfback pass for a moment, decided to tuck it in and go. He's brought down by Kelly Kirchbaum, the veteran out of the University of Kentucky, very active linebacker. Call it no gain, maybe a loss of a half a yard. So that time, nothing doing on the ground. It'll be second down and goal.
You know, this is one of the few times you'll see if it looks like a halfback pass here. And I think Nelson was going to look. No, I don't know if he was going to throw that ball or not. I think he was trying to go wide again to the outside. But if he was, trying to throw the ball. He didn't take the ball up. But it's strange to see it down inside the 10-yard line to throw a halfback pass.
It even looked like that. So perhaps he was just doing some maneuvering, trying to get a little bit more running room. Now we have flags all over the place as the Bandits were itchy at the line of scrimmage. We'll just have to wait and see if they were drawn off or if they encroached.
Encroachment, number 79 on the defense. Still second down.
That'll be second down, but 5 yards closer to the end zone. The culprit is Mike Clark, the big right end for the Tampa Bay Bandits out of the University of Florida. Clark is 6'4", 247-pounder. He should know better. He's been in pro football 5 years, but that time Mike got a little bit anxious. It'll be second and goal from inside the 5 as Steve Spurrier. Well, he can't like what he sees in the early going here.
Well, that's great kickoff return.
Yep. Special teams win a couple of games for your teams every year. In motion goes the tight end Gordon Hudson, and the give is to the running back Kirby Warren for the touchdown. Kirby Warren right up the gut. Freddie Norgren was the man that they had to move out of there. They did so, and it's 6 points for the LA Express with 11:13 left in the first quarter.
Tom, just a straight handoff and straight up the middle of the field. Nothing fancy. Take a look at it. They go right out and they block out on Kelly Kirchbaum, in on Freddie Norgren. The hole was there. Here it comes again. Just take a look. You see the hole right up. Now, Norgren gets a piece of it, but the center had already blocked him, and that was Ruther.
All right, Tony Zendejas in to attempt the extra point. The kick is up, and it's right through the middle. So, with 11:13 to go in the first quarter, the home team Express, given new life by the USFL owners, are on top. LA 7, Tampa Bay nothing. Coming into this game and before that first drive, Tampa Bay, the second-ranked offense in the league, far more efficient scoring points, but now they trail.
Well, this team, and they know Tampa Bay now that they've got a chance to stay in the first place, so don't worry about that first score. But when you take a look at the one thing that stands out more so about LA on their offense is their third down efficiency, Tom. It's like 29%, the worst in the United States Football League.
In the previous meeting, the only previous meeting between these two teams, it was back in Tampa in 1983, and the Los Angeles Express came out with a victory in that game. Tony Zendejas is set to kick off. The deep men are Alvin Bailey and, yes, fullback Greg Boone. Ricky Williams, who helps return kickoffs for the Tampa Bay Bandits, did not make the trip due to an injury. So here we go. We'll see if either Boone or Bailey can get as good a return as the Express had from Kevin Nelson. Sort of a short kick rolling around at the 4-yard line where Boone picks it up, and he is knocked down at the 15-yard line. Danny Rich, left linebacker, came down to make the tackle. So whereas Los Angeles had the best possible start for their first drive, the Bandits are deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 at the 15. And their offense for Tampa Bay, quarterback John Reeves. Running backs will be Greg Boone and Gary Anderson. Wide receivers are Larry Brodsky, and also starting at the wide receiver will be Willie Gillespie, back after a hamstring injury. The offensive line, Dan Fike, Chuck Pitcock, Lee North, Nathaniel Newton, Reggie Smith, and the tight end, I believe, will be Marvin Harvey. Now, Jerry Price was scheduled to start, but he came down with a case of the flu. Let me correct myself. He must have taken some medicine because Jerry Price is in the starting lineup. He's the tight end. He's at the left side of the line. 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay on its own 15. And trailing early on. They give us to Anderson. Anderson loses the football, but falls back on top of it. A whole host of LA Express defensive linemen were there to greet him. Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver was in there along with George Achika. The defensive line for the Express, left end Fletcher Jenkins, left tackle George Achika, right tackle Eddie Weaver, and the veteran Ben Rudolph at right end. The middle linebacker will be Howard Carson, left linebacker Danny Rich, David Howard the right linebacker, defensive backfield Wyman Henderson, Dwight Drain, Darrell Patillo, and Edward Scott is the right cornerback. It is a loss of 1 for Anderson, second down at 11 from the Tampa Bay 14-yard line. 7-0 the Express. If you're just tuning in, they scored after the kickoff return and a good first drive as Reeves hits Larry Bronski. Ed Scott makes the tackle. Bronski over the 20-yard line. See where they finally mark it. Up near the first down marker, but not enough. Right short of the 25-yard line. And it'll be third down and just a few inches to go.
And now you give the ball to Boone.
That is what you would expect. Marvin Harvey comes into the lineup now. Big tight end number 87, so you have both Harvey and Price in there. A couple of tight ends. It would suggest a short yardage situation and a give to the fullback, wouldn't it?
Sounds good to me.
Well, the Bandits, we all know, are kind of unpredictable on offense, but not this time. The give is to Gary Anderson, so Boone was in there to block. Anderson has the first down up to the 30, where Ed Scott makes his second tackle on this offensive series. Let's take a look at maybe the best all-around player in the USFL, Gary Anderson.
I think Dwight Drain gets him at his feet, but just take a look at Gary Anderson. If he gets right past the first guy, he's gone because the defense is up there, and Dwight Drain did get just a piece of his leg.
So it's first and 10 for the Bandits on their own 30-yard line. Boone and Anderson the setbacks, and this time the give is the fullback Greg Boone, who is probably in his best playing shape of the season, picks up 3 yards where David Howard, right linebacker, comes in to put him down. Greg Boone, his season total is not up to last year when he was over 1,000 yards rushing the football.
Well, in all fairness to Boone about his yardage, is at the beginning of the season, they just didn't give him the football because he was overweight. He came in camp out of shape. And they stuck with Gary Anderson, which isn't bad either.
Gain of 3 on the carry for Boone. It's second down at 7. Here goes Gary Anderson. He cuts back nicely up the middle. He'll be short of the first down, though, up to the 38-yard line. Dwight Drain coming up to help from the strong safety spot.
Well, you know who the guy that went by him? Was Howard Carson, number 54, the middle linebacker. He thought he was going to take a shot at Gary Anderson. He just took a little sidestep and went right by Carson and almost picked up the first down.
Larry Bronski will leave the Tampa Bay lineup now. And on the 3rd and 1, the extra tight end, and the person of Marvin Harvey is back in there again.
Steve Spurrier, I like his coaching shirt.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, he's dressed.
He's the fashion plate of this league, I'll tell you. 3rd down and 1. In motion goes Willie Gillespie. The give is to Anderson. Anderson is stopped short of the first down. Howard Carson was there to hit him first, and he may have lost a half a yard. Ben Rudolph was the secondary man in there, but Howard Carson, the middle linebacker, made the hit.
Boy, they did stack that thing up in the middle. The first time they ran on a 3rd and short. They're going to go for it on 4th down. I like this call. I like this.
Well, now, Los Angeles Express have made some defensive changes. We take another look at Gary Anderson.
Well, Gary Anderson, he cuts back into the inside. Now, Fletcher Jenkins is the man to turn him inside, but just Howard Carson, number 54, is right there to make the play. Here they go again.
Well, the Bandits apparently feel if you can't pick up a couple of yards on 2 tries, then what the heck? You don't deserve to be in there. The give is to Gary Anderson. He falls over the 40-yard line, which means he has the first down. Again, Howard Carson, with help from Dwight Drain, bring him down. But we'll call it 1st and 10 for the Tampa Bay Bandits as we get the official indication.
That was a tough play because when Reeves turned around, he ran into Gary Anderson, and it looked, now just take a look at it. He runs into Boone. Boone went too tight, but he does, look what Boone does. Even though he hit the quarterback, he comes in and hits Howard Carson, 54, to give Gary Anderson enough room to make the first down.
Gary Anderson has already carried the ball 5 times for 12 yards in the early going. 1st and 10 for the Bandits at their own 41. Reeves fakes on the handoff and will pass down the left sideline looking for Gary Anderson. Anderson has the catch, but he's well out of bounds. David Howard over there on the coverage. And Gary Anderson on a linebacker, Paul, is a matchup you'd like to have ordinarily.
Oh, if he hands the ball off to the reverse man, who was that?
Gillespie.
Was that Gillespie?
Gillespie, 89.
If he hands it off to him, he's still running. It was a fake reverse to the wide receiver Gillespie to hit Anderson. The coverage, they had 2 men on Anderson going down the sideline, but Gillespie was open if he'd just handed it to him, but that wasn't the play that was called.
2nd down and 10. Gillespie comes split out wide to the left, and Larry Brodsky is split out to the top of your screen. Backs are split behind the veteran quarterback John Reeves. 7-0 LA Express scoring on a 35-yard drive after a great kickoff return on the first series of plays. Reeves out in the flat. Brodsky, sure-handed, has the ball just short of the 50-yard line up to the 49. Wyman Henderson makes sure he doesn't go any further, but Brodsky picks up about 8 yards.
This man has got some great hands, Brodsky, and take a look where Reeves throws the ball. To the outside where Wyman Henderson can't get to the ball. There's just no chance for Wyman Henderson to get there, and a slim chance for Brodsky, but he takes advantage of it. He's got super hands.
That's the old cliche, Paul. There is no defense against a well-thrown ball that is caught. No way anybody could have knocked that down.
I like that.
You like that?
Who said that?
I don't know. My old college coaching buddies. Meanwhile, Gary Anderson takes the handoff from John Reeves. He's close to a first down as the clock rolls inside the 6-minute mark here in the first quarter. Fletcher, Jenkins, and Howard Carson help do in Mr. Anderson. It will depend on the spot of the ball. We could have our first measurement of the game, and I believe that will be the case.
Well, the way it looks like it's about half the ball short. But you know, Tom, when you looked at that last play with Gary Anderson, how quick he gets to a hole. And you know they went on 4th down before at the 40-yard line. They're going to go with the 50.
And it is ruled to be 4th down. So again, the Bandits are faced with a 4th down situation. Now, last time they went for it and they made it. The ball is just nosing over into Los Angeles territory. So we'll call it, for the record, at the 50-yard line. And you would think certainly they would go for it from this field position. They went for it in their own territory.
No question about it. This time, with that much space, and you only have, what, 3 inches? Does Reeves keep the ball, or do they go right back to Anderson again?
I think you might see Greg Boone get it.
We'll see. We've been wrong twice. So I'm not making the third prediction.
All right. Defense digging in for the Express. 4th down and inches. Here's the pitch out to Boone. And Greg Boone has the first down, and he has a lot more. Boone is down around the 35-yard line. They call him out of bounds there. David Howard, who led the Express in tackles last week with 10, brings him down. Dwight Drain helped out.
Tom, we've seen 3 different short yardage plays now. One to Anderson going wide, one to Anderson inside, and now the toss to Boone to the outside. This really gets the defense. Look at that offensive line. They're taking everyone down at the line of scrimmage. Everyone is down. Gary Anderson is going to get a block right there on Wyman Henderson, the corner on the outside. Boone gets outside. Patillo misses him 46. And if it wasn't for number 58, David Howard, he might still be running.
Well, they spotted it on the 40-yard line. Referee ruling that Boone stepped out there, so it's a 10-yard gain. Play fake over the middle of the pass is complete to Brodsky. Reeves to Brodsky has another Tampa Bay first down at the 28-yard line. Howard Carson was there to bring down Brodsky. But that time, the old play fake to Boone coming up the middle. And Reeves bought some time. Darrell Patillo also in there on the tackle. But another first down for the Bandits, who are rolling on their first series of plays.
When you make a play fake to Gary Anderson, you're going to hold the linebackers right now. Then watch this. The linebackers do not get deep enough. You see him hesitating right there. Now look at Brodsky. When he comes across the middle now, there's no one really there to cover except the safety.
Back to pass to live action, looking for Brodsky. Got him, touchdown. John Reeves to Larry Brodsky. 27-yard touchdown. Ed Scott victimized on that play. And the young man from the University of Miami has himself a touchdown, a 26-yard reception.
He said 4 receptions for Brodsky in that drive. I think 3 or 4. Anyway, Brodsky's unbelievable. He's one of those guys they talk about all the time. Not a great speed. Got good moves, excellent hands, but take a look at it. You don't need a whole lot of speed when you're that wide open. And here comes Brodsky. No defender there until it's all over with.
Well, on that drive, Paul, Larry Brodsky caught 4 passes for a total of 58 yards, including a 26-yard scoring pass. And if Zenon Andrusician does what he usually does, that's hit the extra point, we'll be all tied up. 85-yard drive for the Bandits on 13 plays. The snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. We have 4:43 to go in the first quarter from Los Angeles. Our score, Tampa Bay 7, Los Angeles 7. We'll be back to see if the Express can get another drive headed down the field toward the Tampa Bay end zone in a moment. Bandits and Express tied at 7. The only time they met before in '83, the USFL's first year in Tampa, 18-13 LA. John Reeves had 4 interceptions in that game before leaving the game with a broken wrist. Obviously, his wrist is fine, and no interceptions on that opening drive of 85 yards, and we're tied at 7. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire. Zenon Andrusician set to kick off to the double safety Kevin Nelson and Mel Gray standing at the goal line. Andrusician's kickoffs have not been long at all of late, and this is no exception. Bounces at the 15 where Mel Gray picks it up at the 10. Gray out of Purdue had a fine rushing game last week, is down at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. Marcus Quinn made the tackle. The weather is just ideal in Los Angeles. 72 degrees. Skies are clear. Not really very much smog this time of day. Not as much as we've been led to believe. The wind's negligible, 8 to 10 miles an hour. No chance of rain, and the humidity is just delightful, 37%.
Looks like a scene from Miami, doesn't it?
It
All
sure
those
does.
palm trees, things going. But you know, there's nothing here. No humidity.
No humidity.
I love this.
This is great. You get out there and play football and not mess your uniform up too much. First down at 10 for the Express at their own 25. Steve Young, straight back to throw, no bones about it. Not holding anybody in the block for him. Has a receiver who drops the football at the 30-yard line. Gordon Hudson, the tight end, former Brigham Young star himself, was the intended receiver. Dwayne Anderson on the coverage, number 26 there in the red uniform for the Bandits. H-back coming into the lineup, David Hersey for Los Angeles. And he'll replace Gordon Hudson. So that'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Express.
Gordon Hudson's one of those receivers, and he's worked so many years with Young anyway, but when he comes off the line of scrimmage, he kind of lopes out there, and he feels his way. He's running patterns where he's going to the open spaces.
Kevin Nelson, the lone setback, as Hersey goes in motion for the Express. Here's the pitch out to the former UCLA star, Nelson. He's got some blocking. Marcus Quinn, though, just ripped through the man who was trying to put him down, and he makes the tackle at the 30-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 5. Make it 3rd and 6 coming for the Express as they mark the start of this drive at the 26-yard line. Kevin Nelson, 4 rushes, 10 yards. And last week against Portland, Paul, Nelson ran for 85 yards.
Look at Freddie Nordgren now. No one blocked him until he gets by, and then the fullback kind of cuts him right at the line of scrimmage. Nordgren gets away from the play. And here comes Nelson to the outside, and Marcus Quinn really does a good job. He gets away from JoJo Townsell and makes the tackle.
So it'll be 3rd down coming up for the Express and 6, and from the shotgun is Steve Young. Got plenty of time, lofting it out for Kevin Nelson. Has it go off his hands and hit the turf. James Harrell on the coverage, so it'll be a punting situation now for the Los Angeles Express. And coming in for his first bit of duty this game is Jeff Partridge, the punter for Los Angeles.
You know, there's things when you see a play like that, the way Steve Young put that ball out for Nelson, put it right on his fingertips because Harrell was right there. That was a perfect pass, and it would have been an exceptional catch, I understand it, but he still hit him in the hands.
Partridge back to punt. He's standing on his 15-yard line. Alvin Bailey, one of 2 men for the Tampa Bay Bandits, back at the 25-yard line. It's a high, spiraling punt. Beautiful kick. Bailey is under it. Bailey has to fall back down to his own 22, and he is nailed right there. Making the tackle for the Los Angeles Express, Chris Haynes, a reserve wide receiver with 3:47 to go in the first period. These 2 men, well, they're even on the scoreboard. Tampa Bay 7, Los Angeles 7. Steve Spurrier and John Hadel, gotta love it. The USFL on ESPN continuing live from Portland Civic Stadium on Monday night. The Houston Gamblers with record-setting quarterback Jim Kelly, who's already tossed 30 touchdown passes on the air against the struggling Portland Breakers. Coach Dick Corey, they're now 3-7, tied with San Antonio and LA for 5th place in the Western Conference. They still do have a playoff shot, but it's going to be tough for Portland to stop Jim Kelly and the Houston Gamblers. See if they can do it live Monday night. Roger Twybo will be here at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. 1st and 10 for the Tampa Bay Bandits after that 47-yard punt by Partridge, and Gary Anderson up the middle is close to a first down on the first carry. It looked like he was going through a mirror maze and was picking all the right holes.
You know, we've done Tampa Bay at least 3 times this year, and I just love to watch this man run. Here comes Patillo. He's the leading interceptor for the LA Express. Now look at, he reads run, his job. Now I got to find Anderson. I've got to make the tackle. He comes in and helps out. The tackle was made earlier, but Anderson already picked up the first down.
Dwight Drain was the man, the first man to hit Gary Anderson. It is a first down at the 34-yard line. Reeves on the play fake. He's got some time and has it out of the backfield, intended for Jerry Price, the tight end. Price had Dwight Drain on him right from the start, and Drain helped break that pass up. Price really had no shot to catch that ball. Dwight Drain, a fine tackler out of the University of Oklahoma.
Well, Reeves runs a play-action pass here to Gary Anderson, which is supposed to hold the linebackers. That time it really didn't do that. And just take a look at, here's Price. The ball looked like it was tipped before it got to Price, but you're right. Drain was all over Price. He's doing a great job just holding his hands away from the ball.
Andy Mellentree was the man who tipped the football. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Bandits at the 34. Reeves on a short drop. He's going to the sideline for Anderson, and Anderson has the ball well overthrown. That could have been on purpose. Dwight Drain again in the area. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Tommy, they got to take a look at that. When they make that play, when you have Anderson out to the outside and 3 wideouts are split out, I mean, he makes that fake to Boone. When Boone goes through the line of scrimmage, nobody's on Boone. That time he was sitting in the middle of the field all by himself. Reeves had already made up his mind. He's going to Anderson to the outside.
3rd down and 10. Obvious passing situation for John Reeves. Willie Gillespie and Larry Brodsky are split out both to the bottom of the screen left side. And now Gary Anderson is lining up as a wide receiver to the top of the screen. John Reeves again on a short drop, again to Gary Anderson, and again he has the first down over the 45 to the 47-yard line. John Higgins and Dwight Drain helped to bring down the versatile running back out of Arkansas.
You know, it's a hard thing to learn when you're a back to do what Gary Anderson does here. The first thing, the most important thing, and he knows that, is to catch the football. He knows he can move. Watch this. Concentration, the ball in his stomach, tucks the ball away, and then he turns it up for the first down. But the important thing about the play is that not only did Gary Anderson hold on to the ball, but he got the first down when he made his move.
1st and 10 for Tampa Bay at their own 46, and the Bandits have looked flawless on their first 2 possessions. And we have a fake reverse. Anderson keeps the ball, and he's got some running room. Gary Anderson has another first down. He's run out of bounds by Dwight Drain, who's been a very busy man in the early part of this football game. The fake reverse.
Fake to Gillespie again. That time the defense was sitting there waiting on the reverse. There was no place to go because David Howard, number 58, was sitting on the outside. So Anderson, this is a fake all the way. He can't see it. I mean, that's a bad fake because Gillespie wasn't even close. But look at how see how he shifts that ball into his left hand from his right? Because now when the defender goes to hit, he's going to hit his arm and not the ball. For you young guys out there, when you're learning how to run with the football, always keep the ball away from the defender.
Well, now they're measuring this now from our eyesight level here. I thought he had the first down, and yes, he does have the first down. It's 1st and 10. Anderson was very careful to get out of bounds just past that first down mark.
All right, take a look now. The reverse really isn't into effect. And now watch what Gary Anderson does. He's got the ball there. He's going to move it to his right hand. Now when he makes the break, he sees the defenders coming right there. He puts it to his left hand, gets it away from Drain. Drain can't hit the ball. He picks up the first down. He's done everything right so far.
Steve Spurrier looking on in sunny Southern California, where the local time is just past 5:30, and the temperature's still right around the 70-degree mark. It is just a beautiful day for football here in the Coliseum. 1st and 10 from the Los Angeles 43-yard line for the Tampa Bay Bandits. Reeves going long down the middle, looking for Gillespie. No, I thought he had the touchdown. If he could have hung on, he had beaten Wyman Henderson by about a stride, and that ball was laid right in there, and Gillespie just couldn't hang on.
Don't you love it? I love defensive backs when they're beaten, but Wyman Henderson did get his hand up in the air, but after it's over, he puts his hand up like I stopped him. Here it comes. He's throwing to Gillespie. Now, Gillespie has got Henderson beaten downfield. Take a look. But Henderson did not touch this football. Gillespie, but he had his hand, went right in front of Gillespie's eyes, could not see the ball. Excellent play by the defense.
So the near touchdown is negated. It is 2nd down and 10 for the Bandits, who again send running back Gary Anderson as a wide receiver, top of the screen. Brodsky split out to the left. Steve Carter is in there now as a slot back, number 11. So everybody out. Greg Boone going out on a pass pattern. And Reeves is looking for Jerry Price, the tight end. Price was double covered over there by John Higgins and David Howard.
That was a bad selection.
Yeah.
If you're going to throw to someone, I think I'd pick someone on the outside that only has one man on him instead of 2, especially a guy that's one in the front and one in the back.
Steve Carter, the reserve wide receiver from Albany State, second-year man, he was all alone down the left side, but John appeared to be determined to throw it to the tight end from the very snap of the football. It'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Don't forget about Brodsky now.
Bandits have had 4 third-down situations in this game. They've made 2 of them, both of them in very short yardage. This is 3rd and 10, though. Backs remain in the eye. Boone is in there for blocking, and Reeves has the time, and what a great catch, and then the football is dropped. Now, is it a fumble or not? No, they're going to call it incomplete. Larry Brodsky almost pulled one really out of the sky as John Higgins hit it.
Oh, Brodsky had it in his hands. Look, he's mad at himself because he feels that everything he touches, he should catch. And take a look at it. When he catches the ball, is that Drain 33 that hits him? This ball's on his hands. No, that's Higgins that hits him there, right in the back. And Drain is there, but Brodsky drops the ball. He believes that, he honestly does believe that everything he touches, he should catch.
Well, Zenit Andrusson is in the punt. Clay Rule was putting a lot of pressure on quarterback John Reeves as he let that ball go. John paid the price for that effort. Andrusson will be kicking to Dwayne Gunn, or will he? He'll probably try and put it out on the left side. Gunn is over there. Gunn is hit before the ball gets there clearly, and we're going to have a penalty on Tampa Bay, and the guilty party laying down there for the Bandits is Dwayne Anderson, as he was into Dwayne Gunn a good second before the ball got there.
Dwayne Gunn did a smart thing. Dwayne Gunn did not put up his hand. Now watch, here's Gunn. He's just standing there waiting, and he gets hit before the ball. It's an excellent call, but you've got to give the credit to Gunn for doing what he did.
Fair catch interference on the kicking team. First down.
It appeared that the Androsian was trying to put the ball out of bounds, but it never quite got there. 1:36 to go in the first quarter as Dwayne Anderson thinks over what has happened, and this will give the LA Express some excellent field position. Steve Young and John Hadel. See what they can do when we come back. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire, live Saturday night, USFL action on ESPN. We're tied up at 7. Tampa Bay Bandits and the LA Express. 1st and 10 for Los Angeles after that penalty on the interference with the punt return. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line as Steve Young gives the ball to Kirby Warren, and Kirby Warren plows ahead for 2 or 3 yards where he's brought down by Mike Clark. Don't forget our USFL coverage continues next week on ESPN. The Los Angeles Express and the Oakland Invaders. You'll see that game from the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum next week. And also next Saturday night, Paul McGuire will be in one of his favorite places, Birmingham, Alabama, the Birmingham Stallions and the Portland Breakers.
Be in my favorite place, Tuscaloosa.
That's right.
Dreamland.
All right. It'll be 2nd down and 6, 4-yard gain for Kirby Warren on that play. In motion goes the tight end Gordon Hudson. The Express looked very good on their first series of plays, not so good on their last series. Kevin Nelson gets the handoff over the 30-yard line to the 31 to bring up a 3rd and almost 4 yards. Dwayne Anderson coming up to make the tackle for Tampa Bay.
Al Richardson in there, and I think Dwayne Anderson, number 26, gets in and gets a shot. Here goes Nelson up the middle. There's a shot there, but watch 26, Dwayne Anderson, right there. He is the guy that makes the play. Turns Nelson around, stops the first down.
3rd down and 2 for the Express, and Kevin Nelson comes out of the lineup now. David Hersey comes in to replace him. Kirby Warren remaining in, and Mel Gray also in the backfield. Call it 3rd and a long 3. The fake pitch out and the give to Mel Gray up the middle. Gray hits the turf near the first down marker. He may be a bit short. And that is the end of the first quarter. Freddie Norgren makes the tackle. We're all tied up in Los Angeles. Tampa Bay 7, Los Angeles 7. The LA Express are back in punt formation to start the second quarter of play here in Los Angeles. Alvin Bailey and Bruce Vaughn are back in double safety to receive the punt of Partridge. Vaughn and Bailey standing at the Tampa Bay 20-yard line. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire. If you're just tuning in, it's tied up 7-7. Tampa Bay and the LA Express. Both teams scoring on their first drives of the game. A short punt and going out of bounds at or just before the 40-yard line. Partridge used the sideline, but Tampa Bay will have excellent field position when we return to Los Angeles with our score. Tampa Bay 7, Los Angeles 7. Tampa Bay Bandits have the football, 1st and 10 on their own 40-yard line after a less than awesome punt of 27 yards by Jeff Partridge. The give is to Gary Anderson. For the first time tonight, Anderson is really hemmed in there by Georgia Chica. Big left tackle, 6'5", 290-pounder out of Southern Cal, brings Anderson down after about a 2-yard gain.
Well, Anderson was waiting on the block by Nathaniel Newton on number 58, David Howard, and when the block developed late, then he got caught up in there. If he had made his break earlier, he'd have had about 6 yards.
So that'll be 2nd down coming up, and 8 yards to go for Anderson, who's rushed on the night, 10 carries, 38 yards.
3 wide receivers.
A little bit of a long count by Reeves. Anderson falls down coming out of the backfield, and John Reeves falls down as he is dragged down for a loss by Fletcher Jenkins, the left defensive end out of the University of Washington. Ray Cantage also in there to put some pressure on, but Jenkins brings him down.
Fletcher Jenkins just went right by Reggie. Was that Reggie Smith on the outside? I think it was, because watch this. He gets his hand right up in his face. He can't throw the ball. Then he makes the smack right there. Just a good play by Fletcher Jenkins. He is the leader on this team in sacks.
So that sack makes it 3rd down and 16. A loss of 8 yards for the Bandits and John Reeves. Greg Boone, the only setback. Willie Gillespie goes wide to the right. Brodsky and Anderson are out to the top of the screen to the left.
6 defensive backs.
Reeves rolling to his right now. It's a nice block from Boone and lofts it over the coverage, and it is complete and out of bounds. It goes not to Willie Gillespie, but to Spencer Jackson. Jackson, who had started for several weeks while Gillespie was hurt, catches the pass for a first down. Howard Carson drove him out of bounds.
You know, Boone is the only man in the backfield, and he comes out. He's going to go out in the flat, and we may see Boone. He's going to peel back on Georgia Chica. Here comes Boone. You see Boone right there in the screen. He peels back to help out. So Reeves has plenty of time now to see Jackson. Look at this play where he throws it, leads it right out in front. Jackson could not turn upfield, but he still gets a first down at the 41.
Steve Carter comes in to replace Spencer Jackson on this play. First and 10 for the Bandits on the Los Angeles 41-yard line. That was a 25-yard completion. Reeves giving it to Gary Anderson. That's always a good idea, but this time again, the troops are waiting for Anderson as Clay Rule out of Stephen F. Austin. Third-year man makes the tackle after about a gain of a yard and a half.
Don't forget about Brodsky now, number 82, especially on first down with Brodsky, because what happens, he's going to get one-on-one coverage with Wyman Henderson on this side of the field, on the left-hand side, or right-hand side offensively, left-hand side defensively, and he's going to get Ed Scott one-on-one on the other side, but mostly on first down.
It'll be second down and 8. Again, a 2-yard gain for Anderson.
Now he's got Scott out there. He's one-on-one on Scott. Brodsky, and if Reeves sees it, they may audibilize.
And the tight end, Jerry Price, is also split out to the right. The give, however, is to Anderson, and Anderson is brought down by Georgia Chica, who's right there to meet him.
They try to run a quick draw to Anderson, and everybody in the ballpark, we know defensively they're going to key on him, but watch it, Chica. They were trying to cross block in the front, and that's why it didn't work out, because the center, Chris Foote, tried to get out on a Chica. He made the move too quickly.
All right, so the line of scrimmage is 3 yards further back from where it was, back at the 38-yard line of, I'm sorry, the 43-yard line of Los Angeles. It'll be third down and 11, and again, a long third down situation for the Bandits. They were not successful the last time. They were third and 10 towards the end of the first quarter. Willie Gillespie goes in motion. Reeves again, plenty of time. He's looking for Gillespie. The pass is picked off. It is intercepted by Darrell Patillo. And Patillo is brought down by Gary Anderson at the 35-yard line. If Anderson he was blocked on that play. Patillo could have gone a lot further, but Patillo, he puts an end to this Tampa Bay drive.
Well, Higgins tried to block Gary Anderson, and Gary Anderson threw him away and makes the tackle. Here goes Anderson, a fake to him. He goes out into the flat. Now they're throwing across field. Just leads Gillespie just a little bit too much and too high. Patillo is sitting right there reading. Now we're going to see the end of it. You're going to see Gary Anderson. He just throws away Higgins right there and makes the play.
So with 11:57 to go in the first half, our score remains Los Angeles 7, Tampa Bay 7. We'll be back to the Coliseum for more action in a moment. We'll be seeing a lot of them on ESPN. You're watching John Reeves in action tonight. You'll see Jim Kelly Monday night as Houston is at Portland. Next Saturday, we have a USFL doubleheader. You'll see Bobby Hebert of Oakland in action next Saturday. You will also see Cliff Stout of Birmingham next Saturday. So a lot of great passing action coming up for you on ESPN. First and 10 for the Express after that interception by Patillo. Steve Young running for his life and gets out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Alonzo Johnson, linebacker out of Florida A&M, was pursuing Steve Young, and Young did the smart thing and got out of bounds.
This is what they call a naked bootleg. Steve Young looked up, and Alonzo Johnson, most linebackers you can outrun, but you are not going to outrun Alonzo Johnson, the man that Hato really fears. You see the fake to the inside, and watch 58. He doesn't go with the fake. He stays with Young and pushes Young out of bounds. Isn't that great by the defense?
Hersey and Townsell go out split to the top of your screen. Second down and 12. A loss of 2 on the play for Young. Steve Young going over the middle for Hersey, and Hersey, did he make that catch or not? I believe he does. He has the LA Express first down at the Tampa Bay 41-yard line. Wayne Anderson making the tackle, but an excellent catch by the H-back, David Hersey.
Wasn't a pretty pass, but it got there.
That's right.
It really did. David Hersey was going down the middle. Watch this ball. I think it wobbles just a mite. It's floating a little bit, but here's Hersey. He stayed with it. He gets hit, but stayed with the football.
25-yard completion, first and 10 for the Express at the Tampa Bay 41, and to be exact, 41.5-yard line. Gordon Hudson, the tight end in motion. The fake to Nelson, and Young has got all day. Now he's got to run a little bit to the left. You better get rid of that thing. And Alonzo Johnson drags him down for a big loss back in LA territory at the LA 48. Alonzo Johnson.
First of all, Tom, give credit to the defensive secondary. Now, you're going to watch Alonzo Johnson. The reason I say that, look at everyone's covered. Watch Alonzo Johnson. You talk about reaction. He's going to now gets himself set. He's going after Young. He makes the tackle. That's the second time for a loss. One for 2 yards, this one for 9.
And John Hadel is a bit perplexed at those proceedings.
Well, again, you got to give credit to the defensive secondary because Steve Young, even though he had time at first, had no one to throw the football to.
Second down and 20 after that sack. Percy goes in motion again, and the give this time is to Nelson. Kevin Nelson has some running room inside the 40 to the Tampa Bay 39-yard line. James Harrell, the first man to hit him there. So L.A. doesn't try and pick it up all at once. Marcus Quinn also helping out with the tackle. Now it'll bring up a third down, about 8.
The quick draw, and that is supposed to be taken by the inside linebackers. If they have 2, they're both supposed to be watching for it. If there's 1, that's the middle linebacker's job.
Kevin Nelson, as that graphic said, had the longest run from scrimmage for the Express last week, and that's 32 yards. It was against Portland, so you can see by that indication how much the LA offense has been struggling this year. And it's Steve Young from the shotgun. They get more time. Now he steps up in the pocket. He's got to go left. He fires, and the pass is picked off by Alvin Bailey. Bailey at the 40-yard line, and he is brought down by one of the LA men coming back the other way. I believe that was Ed Fisher, the right guard, who brought him down. So an exchange of interceptions. 9:24 to go in the first half. Tampa Bay 7, LA 7. We'll be back with more action from the Coliseum in just one moment. Stay with us. Sacks allowed, interceptions, things that make coaches miserable.
Isn't it terrible? Look at that, 49 for LA and Tampa Bay with 13, but they were sacked once so far, I think, in this game.
So the Bandits have it 1st and 10 on their own 41-yard line after the Allen Bailey interception. Here's a quick one over the middle to Gary Anderson, and Anderson makes something out of it appeared nothing. He has the first down into LA territory at the 45, where Dwight Drain makes the tackle.
You know, I was talking to John Hadel. You and I were both talking to him the other day, and John saying the thing that scares you about Gary Anderson, and I agree totally with him, is when you get him in the open field and you give him like an 8-yard pattern, he turns it into an 18-yard pattern because he is so quick. You can't bring him down. Not one man can.
No, he makes you miss. If you make the first man miss, they say that's the benchmark of a great running back or receiver, and Gary Anderson is that. Reeves to Anderson in the left flat. Anderson had some blocking in front of him, didn't take advantage of it. Coming back to make a nice tackle is Howard Carson. Chuck Pitcock, the left guard, was out there to block. He did make his block, but Anderson didn't follow it.
Well, Chuck Pitcock can't block 2 people. This is just a little quick slip screen outside with only 1 man out there, and that would be Pitcock. And when this happens, look at Pitcock is out on 1 man, but Howard Carson comes in from the inside and puts an arm on Anderson. That's a good tackle.
So Anderson is credited with a loss of 1 yard on that pass reception, making it 2nd down and 11. For the Bandits on the LA 46. We're tied at 7. Good football game from the Coliseum. Both these teams have a lot of motivation coming into this game. We'll get into that a little bit later on, the reasons why. Reeves on the short drop. He's looking for the tight end, Marvin Harvey, and Harvey has the first down at the 22-yard line. Darrell Patillo stops Harvey from going right into for the touchdown.
Well, see, there's a problem here. You're trying to cover the tight end with Howard Carson, first of all, who is a linebacker. And Patillo, his first responsibility is probably looking to Gary Anderson. You see the linebacker is there. There's Carson. He can't stay with Harvey, but Patillo comes over and makes the play, but it's too late.
24-yard reception to Marvin Harvey. The tight end who had such a great year last year has yet to catch a touchdown pass for the Bandits this year. Terry Price has been playing very well at the tight end spot. 1st and 10, and the give is to Anderson. Anderson's got some room on the left side. The room quickly runs out for him, though, as he's pounded out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Darrell Patillo, free safety, coming over to make the hit. So Gary Anderson picking up around 3.5 or 4 yards on that play.
Wide receivers not only catch the ball, but they're also supposed to be blocking downfield. Now, Patillo's on John Warren. Brodsky's on John Warren. Take a look at here. Now, he's almost got a block, and he almost holds, but you'll see Patillo come in and make the play on Anderson. Brodsky did all right. He got in front of him. I mean, they don't do a whole lot. I mean, they don't put him on the ground. They kind of chicken dance with him.
They're what you call influence blocks, right? They're bad influence. 2nd down and 6. Bandits threatening. First time since their first series of plays midway into the first quarter. Long count for Reeves. Checking off at the line of scrimmage. Reeves lofting into the end zone for Anderson, and we're going to have interference here. Pass interference, and Dwight Drain knows it. He was right in Gary Anderson's face, and he figured the interference was better than a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Well, he really had no choice because Anderson is looking back at the ball, and he got himself in a position to catch the ball. We just lofted it up because he could see that Gary Anderson had Drain beaten downfield. Watch him. When he breaks out here, he's going to loft it up in the air. Now, here comes Anderson back to the ball. Drain has no choice but to go right at Anderson, and when Anderson comes back, he runs right through him.
Well, remember now, pass interference in the USFL is a step off from the line of scrimmage, not from where the foul was committed. In this case, it's half the distance down to the 9-yard line, first and goal.
That's right. It would have been, if it would have been out in the field, it would have been a 15-yard penalty.
Right. Okay.
Well, you really know the rules, Tom.
Well, I do a little reading now and then. 6:42 to go in the first half. John Hadel is, well, I wouldn't want to air what he must be thinking right now.
John's been patient with this team. You remember, they cannot go out and get any other players. They have to go, and their whole taxi squad is injured.
They're awarded the league. Boone, the only sent-back behind Reeves, and the pitch out is to Greg Boone. He can get around Carson. He's in, and Greg Boone is in there for the touchdown. Greg Boone, a 9-yard run on first and goal, and the Bandits have a 13-7 lead.
What a great run by Boone, because what he does when he goes out there, he hesitates for a second and freezes Howard Carson. When he freezes him, he gets out around him. Boone may be heavy for his height, but he can move it. Watch, there's a little hesitation right about there. When he does, Howard Carson holds up. He can't get to Boone, and don't try to stop him on the goal line, Drain, because he's going to take you in the end zone.
He certainly did that time. So Greg Boone lugs the leather into the end zone. It's 13-7, and Zenon Andrusic, who's almost money in the bank, is in there with the extra point. Jimmy Jordan, backup quarterback, will be the holder.
Zenon.
He played a lot of football in this stadium for UCLA many years ago, and Andrusic puts it through. Zenon Andrusic moves into the football for Tampa Bay Bandits after the touchdown. Again, a short kickoff taken by Mel Gray at the 15. Gray tightropes the sidelines, out of bounds at the 27-28-yard line, where it'll be first and 10 for the LA Express. It'll be interesting, Paul, to see how Young performs here in a come-from-behind role.
Well, they always get in real position because of Andrusic's kicks. Take a look at Boone. Now, here he is. He's got Dan Fike out front, gets a good block, and then that little hop step, and he freezes Carson into the end zone over Drain. That's a good run.
So Greg Boone, the man that Steve Spurrier brought with him down from Duke when he took this Tampa Bay job, 3 rushes, 23 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, Spurrier was the coach at Duke University when Greg Boone played there. He was an offensive coordinator for Duke. Here is a pass in, almost intercepted by James Harrell. I'll tell you, Steve Young threw it to him like Harrell was the intended receiver. He wasn't. JoJo Townsell was out there, but Harrell cut right in front.
Steve Young did not read the defense at all, because take a look. He just steps back real quick, and when he looks over there, never sees Harrell because he hits Harrell in the hand. Take a look. There's JoJo Townsell, but JoJo was even downfield further.
Well, the offense, as we thought might be the case coming into this game, Paul, totally in favor of Tampa Bay. The Bandits have racked up 187 total yards. The Express just 68. But Tampa Bay only holds that 1 touchdown lead with 6:07 to go in the first half. Young looking out left all the way to Nelson. Nelson now, he thought about throwing that football, but I think he did the right thing, tucking it away, because you can't throw the ball forward twice in the same play.
Tommy, he just almost mishandled the ball is what happened, because they had the screen on the outside, and the 2 blockers on the outside got a great shot. Take a look, even on that almost interception, Young is looking directly into the sun. Not here he isn't. Watch Nelson. Now when he catches it, Nelson almost misses the football. But there are some excellent blocks on the outside. Look at everyone's on the ground. Alonzo Johnson's on the ground, and there's Nelson down the sideline, picks up the first down. That's great play.
I'll tell you, I'm glad I have the replay. I'm wondering what I was looking at there. He never thought about passing that ball. He was just trying to control it. He picked up 13 yards on the play to Nelson. It's first and 10, the Express. And about 1.5 yards in a cloud of dust. That time for the running back, Kevin Nelson. So they go straight up the middle. It'll be second down, about 9.
We got Tony Office, number 52, is in there playing linebacker, and he made a great play that time. Just filled in the middle. Picked up, what, about 2 yards?
Yep, 2 yards. In correction, there was Kirby Warren on that play, not Kevin Nelson. Nelson was out for a play, so Warren picks up a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. Wayne Gunn, dangerous wide receiver, split out to the top of the screen. And JoJo Townsell to the bottom. Second and 8 from the 43. Young stepping up in the pocket, and now he's right in the face of James Harrell. He gets it away anyway, and the pass intended for Kirby Warren is incomplete. Mike Butler and James Harrell help break up that play. Harrell with the pressure and Butler over there on the tackle.
Is there such a thing as in the grasp?
Well, that's what they're going to call.
Yeah, there's in the grasp.
Yep.
And I think it's a good call. You've got to save him. He's got a bad knee, got bad ribs, and we're going to see Harrell coming right into his face. One of the few times you really do see the Tampa Bay Bandits blitz, and that is in the grasp. You've got to protect that quarterback. Good call by the officials.
They're down in 16 yards now.
Yeah, man.
This time, Gunn and Townsend flip-flop their wide receiver position. Gunn to the bottom, Townsend to the top. Obvious passing situation, so Young will go from the shotgun. Got lots of time. Now the time is running out on him, and he'll dump it out to the tight end Gordon Hudson, and Hudson will be well short of the first down as Marcus Quinn helps to wrestle him down at the 40-yard line. Also in there on the play for the Tampa Bay Bandits is Sankar Montoot, reserve linebacker.
Yo. Well, you know, he threw the ball to Gordon Hudson. He was actually the outlet man because the two wide receivers were deep, and they did have a long way to go. But if you can break a tackle, you may be able to pick up the first down. It was just a safe pass.
Jeff Partridge back to punt. Montoot, the fellow I was talking about, is from the Tampa area. At least he went to college in the Tampa area at St. Leo College. And Partridge gets off an excellent punt here. Back to the 10-yard line goes Alvin Bailey. And Bailey is dragged down on some nice coverage at the 19-yard line. Making the tackle for the Express is John Higgins. So the Bandits will have it, but deep in their own territory. 3:58 to go in the first half. Our score, Tampa Bay 14, Los Angeles 7. We'll see if the Bandits can motor their way up the field again when we'll be back in a moment. Bandits have it first and 10 of their own 18, leading at 14-7 as we resume action here from the Coliseum. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire. John Reeves sends running back Gary Anderson split out to the right, so he has three wide receivers now. Boone, the only man back there to block. And the give is to Boone. Greg Boone up the middle, stopped after a gain of, maybe 2 yards. And let's take a look at some of the outstanding performances on the ground so far in the USFL. Herschel Walker, head and shoulders above everybody. Mike Rozier has moved into second place. Bill Johnson of Denver, Joe Cribbs of Birmingham, and the man we're watching tonight, that's Gary Anderson with 709, but he has 12 touchdowns. He leads the league in scoring. Does Gary Anderson. Play rule, and Howard Carson made the last tackle. Now Reeves is under pressure, and he'll go down. And helping to make the sack is Ben Rudolph, who came into this game with 5.5 sacks. Former New York Jet. He got around Danny Fike, and Rudolph dragged him down.
Well, Dan Fike helped to make the sack because Reeves stepped on Fike. And that's how he went down.
Second time that Reeves has been sacked today. It'll bring up a 3rd and 13. Ball at the Tampa Bay 15. Now, the Bandits, Paul, have been dominating this game offensively, but they look in the scoreboard. They only have a 1-touchdown lead, and they don't want to make any mistakes here.
I know, and they totally, after that first drive, they totally forgot about Brodsky.
Well, Brodsky is split out to the top of the screen. Reeves over the middle to Brodsky. Must have been reading your mind, but Brodsky is short of the first down. The tackle made by John Higgins.
I don't think so. Where they're going to give him the mark, he's going to get the first down. Let's take a look at the mark they gave Brodsky. You know, you don't forget about this guy, but just watch him. He doesn't have great speed. Look at this. He's going to make a move in, then up the field, then he's going to get behind Patillo and move across field. Now look he's open. Look at the mark they gave him.
Well, they marked it at the 29-yard line to give Brodsky the first down.
Got some boos here.
Yep, some of the fans don't like that call in the Coliseum. Reeves. His man is Brodsky, and the pass is knocked down that time as Brodsky was hit hard from behind by John Warren. So it'll be second down and 10.
John Warren made a great play. He knew he couldn't intercept the ball, so he knocks it out of Brodsky's hands. There's a fake again to Anderson, and Reeves looking all the way to Brodsky. When he throws this ball, it is high. Now here comes Brodsky down, and he's on Warren. Watch what Warren does. When he reaches up, Warren goes right for the football. Isn't that a great play by the defense? Sure was. John Warren made a nice play. He is from Virginia Union. For years, a very, very fine small college football program near the Richmond area. Brings up second down and 10. Fake to Anderson. He'll go out on the pass pattern over the middle, and Reeves hits him. Anderson is about a yard or two short of the first down up at the 38-yard line. Howard Carson was chasing him, so was Andy Mellentree. And we're going to the 2-minute, but I'll tell you something. Howard Carson, the linebacker, does a great job. Watch what he does. When Anderson puts the fake on him, Howard Carson is right with him, dives at Anderson, gets a piece of him, gets a little help from a friend, but Anderson gets about 8 yards. Steve Spurrier and the Bandits have reached the 2-minute warning, so we'll take a break.
break with our score. Tampa Bay 14, the LA Express 7. Back to the Coliseum in LA in a moment. So, if you were out of the house, happen to miss it, or just want to see the story again, stay with us at halftime for Sports Center. John Reeves back to pass for the Bandits. Reeves is going to be intercepted. This is Wyman Henderson, and Henderson has the football in Tampa Bay territory at the 38-yard line. So again, John Reeves is intercepted for the second time in this game.
We can't blame the sun on this one, John. You just threw the ball in a bad spot in the defense's hand. Just an excellent play by Wyman Henderson. Now, there's going to be some heat on Reeves. All right, the fake is to Anderson. He's got heat. That's Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver coming up, number 61, and forces him back. But he's throwing the ball going back away. And look, you've got two receivers in the same spot. Marvin Harvey makes a play, tackles the ball, but they get the ball back. It was Andy Mellentry, number 52, that recovered for L.A.
So 1st and 10 for the LA Express on the 38-yard line of the Tampa Bay Bandits. Just under 2 minutes to go, and here is the give to JoJo Townsell. Coming back on the wide receiver reverse, and JoJo goes out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down. Marcus Quinn is there to bring the versatile Townsell out of bounds.
Derek Kennard, number 70, the big left guard of L.A., was out in front. He goes a little too wide. Take a look at Kennard. You think he's going a little wide? He's got to get some room to turn his body up. Now go down. Now here we go. And he just kind of runs out of gas right here and goes,
Well, you know.
I'm sorry, Derek, but it looked beautiful. You were doing so well until you fell.
Man's 285 pounds, Paul. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, when all that top stuff goes forward, everything comes down.
1st and 10 for the Express on the Bandit 27-yard line. The fake is to Gray. Here goes the pitch out to Kirby Warren. Whoops, the ball is loose. Warren just trying to fall back on top of it. I believe he is the man that recovered that fumbled pitch out. So the ball is back at the 39-yard line. And the clock is stopped with 1:33, and the timeout is called by the Los Angeles Express. John Hadel wants to talk things over. He doesn't want to give the ball right back.
Seeing three teams.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. They're seeing the LA Express of the USFL. They're seeing the Tampa Bay Bandits of the USFL. And they're also seeing the Tampa Bay Bandits of their own league, which is going to happen next year, I think.
Well, we understand that Tampa Bay owner John Bassett, who is a very dynamic individual, is watching this game on satellite dish up in Toronto tonight.
You tried, John. You tried.
Tampa Bay Bandits, a very, very good football team, and the most successful franchise in this league, and helping to prove that point is Freddie Nordgren on the sack. Paul, that's his 9th sack of the year. He leads the USFL in that category.
No, he don't. No, I got to tell you, Kelvin Turner leads it with 10 sacks, and then Bruce Thornton has 9.5.
Okay.
I just wanted to correct you. Eastern Conference. But here comes Nordgren, the defensive secondary. Give them credit again. And when that happens, remember, Nordgren is almost a nose tackle. He came all the way around on a stunt and got back to Young. So again, you give credit to the defensive secondary because Young had no one to throw the ball to.
Steve Young has been sacked 4 times tonight for 29 yards, and I couldn't read my own handwriting. Nordgren does lead the Eastern Conference of the USFL with 9. He had 8 coming in. So
okay, you're right there, Tom.
8-1.
Now that's a total now of 53 sacks in 11 games so far. Now 10.5 games so far for LA.
Steve Young is already playing with a tender knee and a thigh bruise suffered in last week's game. You know something, the Tampa Bay Bandits, they too have a lot of motivation because their owner John Bassett would like nothing better than to win the USFL championship, and this is the Bandits' last year in this league. John was a very, very staunch supporter of spring football, did not have enough owners to vote with him last Monday at the owners meeting in which I attended, and he was very upset about that. I think John felt going into that meeting, Paul, that he had the numbers, but he didn't. And so he says, they're not going to tell me how to run my business. I'm going to start my own league and play in the spring.
He's starting to talk about some players. Now, here's the situation with LA. What they really want to do in this situation, I love the score, obviously, but they want to pick up about 10 or 15 yards, Tom, to get Zendejas in a field goal position. Don't try to go for the bomb and lose it. Here comes a short one.
Well, it goes to Mel Gray, and Gray is at the 40-yard line. They'll need more than that. It was 3rd and 31 going into that play, and they have to get down to the 17-yard line for a first.
Yeah, well, see, what they wanted to do is to get Gray or someone in a short pattern, pick up 15. They didn't. They only picked up 9. Now Zendejas is going to come in and kick. He's got a strong leg. This will be a 50. Tampa Bay took a timeout. This will be a 57-yard field goal. The other good reason for that timeout, Tom, is this: if he misses the field goal, Tampa Bay will have the ball at the 40-yard line in excellent position.
Good point.
Here we go. Kone.
No wind to deal with. Slight angle to the right. The kick is going to be short. It was on target. On target, I believe it would have gone through had it been long enough, but the kick is short, so the Tampa Bay Bandits, very wisely, taking that time out. And they'll have excellent field position with 1:06 to go in the half.
Exactly. They've got the ball at the 40. Now all they've got to do is pick up 2 or 3 first downs. And remember, again, I know we're long in the league and it's the third time, their third year, but after every first down, the clock will stop. Now we might see Tampa go into a hurry-up offense, but they do have 2 timeouts left.
So the Bandits will have it 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Again, if you're just tuning in, the Bandits, they've dominated in every offensive category, but a couple of interceptions have snuffed out a couple of Tampa Bay drives, and so the Express hoping now that they can go in with just a 7-point deficit. Tampa Bay would love nothing better than to add an extra touchdown or at least a field goal before halftime. Reeves has plenty of time. He's going long down the right sideline, intending it for Gillespie, and it is overthrown. Wyman Henderson was on the coverage. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Willie Gillespie back in the lineup after missing several weeks with a hamstring pull. Third-year man from Tennessee, Chattanooga, only 5'9", but he's a real speed burner.
They had 2 men on the outside. They had Gillespie on one side. They had Brodsky on the other side. They had no one in the middle of the field. Here is a time that really I would throw the ball in the middle of the field.
Just 1 minute to go in this first half. 14-7 Tampa Bay.
Hey man, do the microphone work?
Reeves on a short drop. He's going over the middle for the tight end Harvey, and Marvin Harvey has him in field goal range. He's down at the 26-yard line as Dwight Drain brings him down.
They're gonna go hurry up here because they've got 53 seconds. The clock will stop while they move the chains. But Marvin Harvey, I said, you go through the middle of the field. They're working too much on the outside. A 34-yard pass play. But that time they did the same thing again. They're trying to cover tight end with a linebacker with help with a safety. But the safeties have to cheat towards Anderson's side. So they threw away from the side that Anderson was on, down the middle of the field, picked up 34.
And the clock is rambling now at 42 seconds and running. Reeves on the quick count, looking toward the left sideline, into the end zone. This is Carter, touchdown, and he drops it. Oh, he had a touchdown right in his hands, did Steve Carter. John Warren is very thankful because Carter didn't hang on.
Oh, he did too, Carter. Oh. That ball was in perfect position. That ball was thrown so the defensive back couldn't catch it. All Carter had to do was put his hands out and catch the football. Spurrier isn't happy with that at all because you set that play up and it was there. It was right there. You can't throw this any better. Look at Reeves. He sets up. He knows he's throwing to Carter downfield. He knows he has his man beaten. And take a look at it. Right in the hands. The defender had no chance.
Back to live action. Reeves trying the same thing again. He's gone and almost intercepted this time by John Warren. Spencer Jackson was the man in the area this time.
Spencer Jackson almost caught the ball. John Warren, they're testing Warren down there. He said, wait a minute, that's 2 for 2. See, they're in Zen and Anderson's field goal range now. They can go for the end zone. There's 25 seconds to go. They still have 2 timeouts.
And it's 3rd and 10. So essentially they have 1 play to run here before they'll try the field goal.
Reeves is one of the few coaches that he doesn't wear a headset.
Spurrier?
Spurrier. He's one of the few coaches that he doesn't wear a headset like most of them do. He just calls the signals from his mind.
Tell him you said that. Boone, the lone setback, but even he'd go out on a pattern across the middle. Reeves is just looking for a possession pass now and finds it to Spencer Jackson. Wyman Henderson brings him down. Jackson gets down to the 20-yard line. It's short of the
They'll let it
down.
run.
They'll let it run down. 12 seconds, 11, and timeout is called, and I would think that Zenon Anderson would make his way onto the field. John Reeves sort of walking around. Wonder what's going to happen. Second timeout called by the Bandits, and that man, Steve Spurrier, going to try and put some more points on the board. 4th down, they have to pick up 4 yards for a first down.
Yeah, they have 1 timeout. I got to believe that they're going to go to the end zone. And there's nothing wrong with Anderson's leg. I just think, he is in. That would be a 37-yard field goal.
Well,
and he can hit that.
Marvin Harvey, the tight end, is in there. Spencer Jackson, Larry Brodsky. 2 for 2 on 4th down tries in this game are the Bandits. Spurrier will look like a hero or a goat, depending upon what happens here. And John Reeves says, wait a minute, I see Marvin Harvey move out to the outside. I'm not sure. We have a timeout called by Reeves. We also have a flag in the end zone.
It was too late, Tom. It was delay a game, and they're gonna lose 5 yards. Now this is going to make it a 42-yard field goal. I think what they were trying to do is get them to go offside and have
delay
the long
game.
count.
Number 7 on the offense. Still 4th down.
That's absolutely what they were trying to do because they were 4 yards short of the first down.
And nothing is absolute with Bandit ball, but they were trying to get LA to go offside, which would have given them an automatic first down because they only needed 4 yards at that time. And that didn't happen, but Reeves, for some reason or other, was not looking at the 30-second clock because he let it go down.
Reminder, Sports Center at halftime. We'll have a recap of the day's doings at the Kentucky Derby. All right, here's Zennon Anderson. This will be a 42-yarder, angle to the right. Snap is down, kick is up. It is long enough, and the kick is good. So with 7 seconds to go on the clock at the Coliseum, the Tampa Bay Bandits have tacked on 3 more points, and they take a 10-point lead. Tampa Bay leading at 17-7.
He's happy.
Yeah, well, I think Steve got off the hook there.
Look at Zennon. Now watch it. This man has been kicking a long time. Look at his head. Watch his head. As soon as he popped the ball, his head, he knew it. And you were sitting there waiting. As soon as he hit it, he knew it. They can tell. They can feel that.
I'm looking at the referee, who was right underneath the goalpost. But that one was right down the middle, and Zennon Anderson will have a kickoff coming up here, and that should be the last play of the first half. Don't forget, keep your dial right here on ESPN because Sports Center will be filling you in on the Kentucky Derby. We'll also have an update of Major League Baseball and the NBA playoffs for you. All the other sporting activities of the day. Bring you right up to date on Sports Center right after the first half.
Amazing thing on that scoreboard, if that's correct. LA only has 5 first downs, and remember the opening kickoff. They brought the ball down to what close to the 35-yard line or 30-yard line, somewhere 34-yard line actually, and then they went on in the score, and they really have not threatened since then.
No, and the big thing is that they're still in this game, so if they could get something going, the Express could still pull this one out. They're right in the game. Frank Sire, who's the backup quarterback to Steve Young, had maybe his best games the last couple of weeks for this football team.
Well, there's always key possessions, Tom, and remember one thing, Tampa Bay will get the ball back on the second half kickoff.
That's true. That's exactly right. Zennon Anderson will squib this one. He doesn't want any parts of a long kickoff return. The Express will just fall on it at the 33-yard line, and the clock will run out, or will it? It stopped at 3 seconds. Not a timeout, but they're stopping it for placing of the chains. Falling on that one was Ed Fisher, the big right guard out of Arizona State. He won no part of a return. The ball is placed at the 33-yard line. So Steve Young and company will theoretically have one play.
Do you see if you got bomb time here? Just throw it, see how far Steve Young can throw the ball? Air his arm out, or they just hand off.
Well, you've got Townsend, Dwayne Gunn, and Hersey all split out to the left, so that would suggest at least a try, one of those Big Ben plays down the field. Bandits are dropping everybody back, including Steve Spurrier. They've got a ton of people in the backfield. Young is airing it out, and everybody is up to grab it, and it is intercepted to end the first half of play. Alvin Bailey grabs his second interception of the day. But we have reached halftime as Steve Young strolls out the field. His team, well, frankly, they're not doing that well, offensively at least. At halftime, the Tampa Bay Bandits have ridden into Los Angeles, and they've grabbed a 10-point lead. Tampa Bay 17, LA 7.
Well, take a look at 260 yards to 99. Turnovers are even. Forget about time of possession. That doesn't mean anything. Rushing yardage, and we were thinking, both teams were talking to us about rushing the football. Now, LA has been trying to throw. Tampa Bay, 195 yards. They've got Brodsky. They've got Gary Anderson when these people are open. And I think that the 2 big plays to Marvin Harvey down the middle of the field has been a key for them. But the one thing that you said just before the end of the half, LA is only down 10 points. They are still in this ball game, and they're playing poorly.
Tampa Bay will get the opening kickoff to start the second half, and let's see what the Bandits have done on their possessions in the first half.
Well, take a look at the number of plays. You don't see a 3-play in punt. You've got a touchdown, a punt, then they threw the interception, another touchdown, another interception, but that's after 6 plays. So they're not going 3 downs and out. And we'll see maybe LA take a look at their 3 downs and out. There's twice where they had to punt. First time they had excellent field position at the 35, went in and scored a touchdown. And after that, even though they had an interception in Tampa Bay territory, deep in Tampa Bay territory, could not take advantage of it.
So the bottom line is, as we look at one of the smiling fans here at the Coliseum, and again a sparse crowd on hand, it's well documented the Express problems. The bottom line is that when LA does not have excellent field position, they just haven't been able to move the ball. We'll see if that changes in the second half. Tony Zendejas really lays into this one. Alvin Bailey backed up to his own 1-yard line. Bailey fakes the reverse to Gary Anderson, and Bailey will come up the right sideline and be knocked out of bounds. And the man doing the hitting there was David Howard, knocking Alvin Bailey out. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bandits at their own 23. So the Tampa Bay Bandits, who are the second-ranked team offensively in the USFL coming into this game. Gave no indication that they're going to miss any beats on offense in that first half.
Well, we can take a look now. Remember now, the first series of downs, it was mostly Reeves and Brodsky. Let's see if they start that again.
Boone and Anderson, your setbacks. Brodsky, along with Willie Gillespie, are the wideouts. And Marvin Harvey is the tight end at the top of the screen.
Audible.
Reeves changing plays as Boone and Anderson get set. John Reeves to Gary Anderson, has it at the 25 and falls forward to the 32-yard line. David Howard and Howard Carson, a right linebacker and middle linebacker respectively, make the tackle.
Big Nathaniel Newton, number 61. He's going to help out on the Chica with the center foot, and because he didn't have anybody over him, and that time, and Anderson slips out a little short now, a 3-yard pattern. He turns it in for another 6.
So it is 2nd down and 2. Overall, an 8-yard gain for Gary Anderson up to the Tampa Bay 31-yard line. And Willie Gillespie goes in motion. The give is to Anderson. He has the first down, I believe, at the 34-yard line. Howard Carson, very busy man, middle linebacker, making the tackle. We have a penalty flag and lots of pushing and shoving. Nathaniel Newton, number 61 for Tampa Bay, is in there. And Paul, did you see who he was pushing around?
Well, I think it was Dan Fike is the guy that was hitting Georgia Chica, because Gary Anderson, they had him stopped, and the Chica was bending Anderson's back. Two backs, back.
Right.
Okay.
Personal foul.
Both ways.
Number 62 on the offense. Personal foul. Number 75 on the defense. The penalty's offset. We have a first down.
I said Fike, and I think the right is Chris Foote. All right, here we go. Here comes Anderson. A little quick play to pick up the first down. Now watch, he's tackled there. Now look at the Chica bending his back, and then you'll see that's where he's bent, and then Chris Foote right there comes in and just hammers the Chica. They started pushing and shoving and all that jazz, and they got the double dipper.
Well, Chris Foote, former teammate here of the Chicas at L.A., was traded by the L.A. Express over to Tampa Bay last year. 1st and 10 for the Bandits at their own 34. The give is to Anderson. Anderson knifes his way for a gain of maybe 3 yards on the play. Howard Carson and Dwight Drain making the stop.
Big Nathaniel Newton, number 61. Let's take a look at him. Here he is blocking now on a Chica, but he's getting help blocking down inside by Reggie Smith. They just roll a Chica out. There's the hole is supposed to be there, but they don't get the hole. Anderson picked up, what, 3?
3 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Nathaniel Newton looks a little bit thinner this week. He's listed at 290.
Yeah. Showers at the car wash.
2nd down and 7. I'll also tell him you said that.
No, I didn't.
Not me. Reeves, long straight drop, has the time, and he has his man. That's Anderson, and then Anderson drops the football. They're going to call it incomplete as David Howard had his hands around the waist of Gary Anderson. That'll bring up a 4th down, rather 3rd down situation, 3rd down and 7.
And it is, every drive. Look at, there's Reeves' numbers. He's a little better than 50%. But it's important that every drive is important that they stop him. But it's important here in this part of the game where Tampa Bay gets the ball in the opening kickoff, second half, up by 10, to stop them here and get that ball back.
First 3rd down play for the Bandits here in the second half. 3rd and 7, and Reeves sends everybody out on a pass pattern. He still has lots of time. Now they'll have to run, and he'll just throw this one up the right sideline. Is the man in bounds? That is Larry Brodsky. He not only has wonderful hands, but that time he kept his feet right where they should be, and he's out of bounds at the 39 of L.A.
Well, Reeves was going the other way, and Brodsky, he just had to wait and wait and wait. The one thing Brodsky had 2 things he had to do. One, make sure he kept his feet in bounds. You can see Reeves, he's not even looking at Brodsky. He's looking the other way, so everybody left Brodsky alone. He's down here waving. Watch what happens. Now, that's Wyman Henderson lets him go. Brodsky's waving. Well, hey, throw the ball to me. Get in bounds. Look at this catch. Isn't that beautiful? Reminds me a lot of Bobby Chandler. Remember Bobby Chandler?
Oh, he's in the stadium tonight.
He is.
That's right, Bobby Chandler.
That's why it reminded me of him, because I saw him earlier.
1st and 10 for the Bandits on the LA 39-yard line. Coverage on that play by John Higgins and Wyman Henderson for the record. And the pass intended for Anderson goes through his hands. It is incomplete. David Howard and Dwight Drain on the coverage.
You see Reeves, and he's absolutely right. David Howard, I thought there's an illegal chuck rule. He was holding Gary Anderson about 8 yards down the field. You can't do that. I know you can't do that. And Anderson finally got away when the ball was thrown. See that? That's touchdown. Here's a touchdown play.
All right, we'll see. 2nd down and 10. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire. We're from the LA Memorial Coliseum tonight. Our live USFL Saturday night action. LA Express giving a new life for the league owners and the Tampa Bay Bandits, saying that they're going to lead the USFL after the season. The Bandits lead this game 17-7. And here is Greg Boone, almost dragged down for loss, and now he will be. The initial man to make the hit was Andy Mellentree, and after Mellentree lost the possession of the ball carrier, he was helped out ably on the play by Darrell Patillo.
That tee that Spurrier made was either touchdown, toss, or 2-yard loss.
Well, I think the third one is correct because that's what it was, a 2-yard loss. Okay. Third down and 12. Ball back at the 41-yard line. So once again, Paul, the Bandits have a big play, but they've stalled temporarily here on this drive, and this will be the story, this play, whether they punt or whether they'll go on with the drive. Bandits.
3 wide receivers.
Bandits 5 for 11 on third downs. Reeves is under a lot of pressure. This thing is wobbling up in the air. The ball finally settles down where nobody can catch it down to the turf. Ben Rudolph, the right defensive end, former New York Jet, former Long Beach State ball player, was really putting pressure on number 7.
4-man rush, and you're going to see Rudolph coming right up the middle of the field. The block was missed on the inside by Chuck Pitcock, number 64. The left guard didn't even see him. He's by. Reeves had no chance.
So back to punt is Zenon Anderson. Dwayne Gunn in single safety at his own 10-yard line. Zenon gets this one straight up in the air. Dwayne Gunn signaling for fair catch. He has it at the 15-yard line, and that's where the LA Express will start their first offensive series of the second half. 11:51 to go in the third quarter. The score remains the same. Tampa Bay 17, Los Angeles 7. We'll be back with the Express first drive of the second half in a moment. Sire out of Kansas is replacing Young. I'll go over his stats in a moment. First and 10 for Sire and the Express on their own 16-yard line. Sire wearing number 10, looking right, got some pressure now from Alonzo Johnson. He'll take off and run with it. Sire over the 20 to the 24. We have a flag on the play. Frank Sire, Alvin Bailey made the tackle on him. Sire 60 of 122 coming into this game. Completion percentage just under 50%. He has 3 touchdown passes and he's thrown 10 interceptions.
We got a play downfield. Now I don't know whether it was Kevin Nelson and he was working on Marcus Quinn, but was he trying to block before the pass was thrown? I don't know if you can do that.
Holding, number 25 on the defense, declined. Second down.
Second down, holding called on Alvin Bailey.
Well, the last time I looked up, it was Kevin Nelson.
Let's take another look at that and see if we can see what's going on.
All right, here comes Sire. They try to trip him right there, and Sire comes in. Is that going to be Kelly Kirschbaum that puts a stick on him, number 51? And here comes Sire. Oh, he hits Alvin Bailey. He's the man they called for holding, but Sire just stuck his helmet right in Alvin Bailey's stomach.
Well, whatever. Sire picks up a total of 9 yards on that. Or no, they give him 10 yards. It'll be first and 10. First of all, they announced it was second down. Then they moved the chains up. It is a first down, just short of the 30-yard line. First and 10 for the Express. So Sire shows some positive results, although that was not a planned running play. The give is to Kirby Warren, who's in there as he was in the first series of the first half, and Warren picks up 2 or 3 yards. Al Richardson, Alonzo Johnson, and a host of others on the tackle. So Steve Young, we don't have any word that he is injured, Paul. Let's look at Frank Sire. The last 3 games, he's really been picking it up. His completion percentage is way up over this year's previous performance. So the last 3 weeks, he's been doing well.
Remember, that only brings it up to 49.2, so you had an idea how bad it was in the beginning.
Well, he came in, first of all, when Steve Young injured his knee against the Arizona Outlaws in the game that we did right here on ESPN several weeks ago. Hersey is in motion, and the give is to Mel Gray. Gray is over the 40-yard line, first and 10 for the LA Express. Mel Gray brought down by Alonzo Johnson. And Sankar Montoot also on the tackle. First and 10, the Express at the 42.
Mel Gray is quick. He's another one of those guys that can hit the hole in a hurry. Now he's coming off the field. Nelson's back in the game.
Mel Gray ran for 52 yards last week against the Portland Breakers.
Sankar Montoot is going to be the man that makes the tackle, number 55. He's right there. He comes into your picture when Gray cut back. He was there, but that was a good play.
First and 10, Express at their own 42-yard line. Sire sends everybody out on pass patterns. Got the time. He's got his man. That's Kevin Nelson. And Nelson is up at the 48-yard line and dragged back, but his forward progress is to the 48. Kelly Kirschbaum, the first man to hit Kevin Nelson. So that'll be a gain of around 7. Make it second down and 3. This LA Express offense is a bit perked up here.
They have a lot of confidence in Frank Sire. Now watch Sire when he goes back and sets up. There's really no blitz on. He sets up, delivers the pass. He finds an open man. He's throwing short. He has not gone deep. He threw a little short screen pass, and then now this little short one to Nelson coming out. That builds up confidence.
Dwayne Gunn split out to the bottom of your screen, and Kevin Nelson to the top. Second down and a short 3 yards to go for the Express. Mel Gray is brought down by nose tackle Freddie Norgren. Brought him down for a loss of 2 or 3 yards on the play.
Freddie Norgren just flew by Ruther, number 57, the center, and made the play in the backfield.
Well, we have the word now from the bench that Steve Young, Paul, is not being taken out because of injuries. Steve Young is being benched.
All right, let's take a look at the offensive line. Now, Ruther, number 57, is the center trying to block on Nordgren. And I watch Nordgren underneath. He just gets right by Ruther and has enough presence of mind to get his head up once he gets through and makes the play on Mel Gray in the backfield. Isn't it beautiful? Look at this. There's his head up, arms out. There's a tackle.
It's got a third down and a short 3. It's third down and 6 now. Sire over the middle. He's got his man, the tight end. That's Gordon Hudson. Gordon Hudson has a first down. Wade Anderson on the tackle for the Bandits, but not before Hudson has the ball into Tampa Bay territory at the 40.
Now that time, Tampa Bay, you're going to see that. Look at they have a blitz coming. Kirschbaum's coming. They got Alonzo Johnson coming from the outside. They are blitzing Sire. Sire goes down, but watch this ball behind Hudson. He turns his body, gets in front of the football, makes the catch.
Ball marked at the 39-yard line for the record. 15-yard pass completion from Sire to Hudson, and this LA Express offense has marched right down the field. This drive started about the LA 15-yard line. Now at the Tampa Bay 39. Hersey again in motion. Sire to Mel Gray. He's dangerous in the flat, but he's dragged down from behind after a gain of 1 or 2 yards by Mike Clark, right defensive end out of the University of Florida. So what could have been a dangerous play is stopped short.
Mike Clark really made a great play back to the outside. He's the defensive end, but his job is to, as soon as he sees that ball released, he gets back into the flow. That time he did get back out. He got help, but he made the tackle from the backside.
So it'll be second down and 8. Gain of only 2 yards on that pass in the flat to Gray. I like to get him the ball in the open area because he is so elusive. Townsell and Gunn. The wide receivers, Gray, the single setback, and Hersey, the H-back, is in the slot to the right. Hersey in motion. The give is to Kevin Nelson. Nelson up the middle, got some running room. Kevin Nelson to the 15 and a fumble. Inside the 15-yard line, a fumble, and the official is signaling Los Angeles ball. Dwayne Gunn, number 83, may have been the hero there for Los Angeles, saving that play. So the Express get a break, Paul. They have it deep in Tampa Bay territory. First and 10 at the 13.
These are the things that happen to bad teams, and when things are going bad, and when you get a great run like Nelson has here, and then fumble the football, they don't usually get it back. All right, let's just take a look at it. That's Harrell, number 50, comes in and hits the ball away, and Dwayne Gunn is right there, the fall on the football. Alvin Bailey had no chance of getting to it.
Well, all in all, a 24-yard play. Any way you look at it, it's
right.
first and 10.
Well, you could call it lateral.
All right.
No.
We'll tell Steve Spurrier that was a lateral at the 13-yard line of Tampa Bay. They give us to Mel Gray, and Gray is horse-collared back there. Mike Clark, Al Richardson. But
Alonzo Johnson.
I'm sorry, Alonzo. 58, 59 sometimes look like the same, but this tackle is very distinct.
Yeah, this will hurt you. And he's hurt. He's on the ground. Look at this. Bang, right in the head.
Oh.
And then, but look at his leg is bent. His right leg is bent up underneath him also. I don't think that's where it's at. Here comes Alonzo Johnson, and here it is right here. Look at the left hand. Bang, right across the head. No face mask there. And look at his legs are buckled up underneath him. That hurts, pal.
That's not a pretty sight. We'll be back to see exactly what happened on that play. It's 17-7, Tampa Bay. More USFL action live Monday night from Portland Civic Stadium. Jim Kelly and that offensive juggernaut, the Houston Gamblers, against the Portland Breakers, Paul. It should be interesting to see if Mr. Kelly can add on to his league-leading total of 30 touchdown passes.
That's all he has?
That's all.
No, he's having a bad year. he's doing well. All right, here we go. Alonzo Johnson is going to hit Gray. And here's a look at here, and then watch his legs buckle underneath him. Now his right leg goes down, but look at his left leg and his left ankle. They turn underneath. And you've got about 600 pounds on you because he gets help from some other people.
Well, Coach John Hadel, very concerned, standing at the Tampa Bay 20-yard line. He's been out to look over the situation. You see the medical staff tending to Kevin Nelson. Paul, the Los Angeles Express have had 28 different players injured this year, and of those 28 coming into this game, 15 were knee injuries, and that'll just, literally and figuratively tear your team up.
Well, because they're supported by the league, Tom, and one of the big problems that when we were talking to John Hadel about it is that their taxi squad or their reserve squad or whatever they want to call them, they are all legitimately injured without a chance of coming back. So, and here comes the stretcher out here for Mel Gray. But when that happens, you can't go out and get people.
Well, it's too bad, I'll tell you. We don't know if it's a knee or not, but you be the judge.
We'll wait till we hear because you don't want to say that. But see, now he's down. Now watch it, and they bend him over backwards. That's Mike Clark coming in on top. And you've got a lot of people. You've got anywhere from 600 to 700 pounds coming on you now after you're on your way down. Johnson makes the major hit there. Clark comes in, and then he gets hit again by somebody on the other side, and I can't see the number there, but that's a lot of people coming down.
They're still tending to Mel Gray. We have 5:36 left to go in the third quarter from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Tampa Bay Bandits still lead it 17-7. While we were away at the Coliseum, the injured party, Mel Gray, was carried off on a special sit-down type of stretcher, and the LA Express executed their 10th play on this drive. They covered 71 yards. Pass out in the flat to David Hersey was dropped, so you didn't miss anything of any importance, and it's 3rd down and 11.
Except it was a good pass and hit Hersey in the hands, but Marcus Quinn was also there to make the coverage on it. We're looking at Mel Gray. They've got everybody around him.
Well, Kirby Warren is in to replace him. Kirby Warren wears number 49. Had a big game early in the season against the New Jersey Generals. Some of you may remember that game. And Frank Sire now goes from the shotgun. Sire looking left, going for Nelson. It's intercepted in the end zone by Marcus Quinn. So the Bandits dodge the bullet here. Quinn cuts off the drive. Mike Clark put some pressure on Sire and caused maybe the interception.
Clark put the pressure on it, but Sire just threw the ball too hard that time. He tried to drill the ball into Kevin Nelson. Watch, he just steps up and puts everything he has, and here comes Clark. He goes back to the outside. Ruther comes out and just touches him. But watch how hard this ball comes in. I mean, that's everything he's got. Here's Nelson through his hands and right into the hands of Marcus Quinn. All he did was slow the ball down and tip it up for the tip drill.
So the Bandits cut off that LA Express drive, and they'll take it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. We have 5:07 to go in the third quarter. Bandits leading at 17-7. Reeves on the play fake. And he'll look for his man and find him out there, and that is Willie Gillespie. Gillespie over the 30-yard line of the 31. And it's a 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay. Wyman Henderson makes the stop.
You know, we talk about it, and you can see it every time that they put Gary Anderson and leave him in the backfield, whether it's the I formation or not. He's in the I now. He may move out. But when they make the fake to him, the linebackers have to stay. They have to respect Anderson because they have to cover him coming out of the backfield.
So a pickup that time of 13 yards on the pass play. The give on 1st and 10 is to Gary Anderson, and Anderson burrows his way for a gain of 1 or 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down, around 8 yards to go. Ben Rudolph is in there on the tackle. Also in there for the Express is George Achika. Well, we have just received word from the Los Angeles Express bench that man Mel Gray has injured his right knee, and we believe that he's also suffered a concussion. The public address announcer has paged the doctor here to report to the LA Express bench to add to the staff that's already down there. So Mel Gray obviously is through for the night, maybe for a lot longer.
We got people moving all over the place. That's not the good thing. Get sloppy.
This play is definitely illegal, one way or the other. Flags all over.
False start. Number 64 on the offense. Still 2nd down.
Chuck Pitcock, guilty party for Tampa Bay. Left guard, false start, so march it back 5 yards further. 2nd down and 15. No scoring here in the second half. 17-7. The Express looked like they were going to go in and really put some heat on Tampa Bay, but the interception by Marcus Quinn, who led the league in interceptions last year, choked that one off. Again, some action at the line of scrimmage, but no flags are thrown. And Reeves over the middle looking for Gillespie. He finds him at midfield, and Willie Gillespie has it. 1st and 10 at the LA 49-yard line. John Higgins brings him down.
John Higgins brings him down, but he didn't have any help. And they only had 3 receivers really out in the pattern. Just take a look at this secondary. Here's the wide angle. Now you see Gillespie right there breaking off at midfield. Now Higgins is there. Wyman Henderson's on the other side. They're going with Gary Anderson. They're covering him with 2 people. And when that happens, excuse me, that's not Henderson. That is Spencer Jackson, 88. When that happens, that's Gillespie one-on-one. And that time Reeves picked out the target with only man coverage.
Well, Willie Gillespie, 24-yard reception on that play. 1st and 10 for the Bandits in LA territory at the 49, and Gillespie goes in motion. Reeves on the handoff to Gary Anderson. Anderson steps his way for about a yard and a half gain. Howard Carson and David Howard help to push him down. And there's Mel Gray. They're still working on him on the bench. It's nice to see him out of that stretcher anyway and sitting up.
Oh yeah, and you know they buckled everything down, and the guy we've been talking about a lot of the evening, especially when Tampa's on defense, is Alonzo Johnson, number 58, and the guy that Hadel said is one of the finest linebackers he's ever seen.
It's a pretty good comment from a guy who's seen a lot of football, in John Hadel.
Oh yeah.
All right, 2nd down and 9. Again, Reeves is checking off at the line of scrimmage. Gets the play off with about 4 seconds to spare. Looks down the right side for Brodsky. He's got him. Brodsky a first down, a lot more. Larry Brodsky down to the 14-yard line. Wyman Henderson was the man who had to bring him down.
Well, you saw the audible coming because Reeves thought that there was going to be a blitz, so he brought Marvin Harvey inside. Then he has Brodsky. He ran an in move and came back to the outside. Left Wyman Henderson inside. He's not going to outrun Wyman. He's not going to outrun a whole lot of people. But the thing about him is his hands. He's got great hands and great moves, and the man gets open. Look at this, 7 for 130 yards. That's his 3rd, I think, over 100-yard game receiving.
Larry Brodsky, a possession-type receiver out of the University of Miami, has had some tryouts with teams both in the NFL and other USFL teams, is stuck here with the Tampa Bay Bandits, and he loves it. Reeves going over to the tight end Marvin Harvey. He's got his first touchdown reception of the year. Touchdown. David Howard had him, but it was much too late. With 2:08 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Bandits up their lead to 23-7, and Steve Spurrier's happy.
Steve Spurrier's happy. David Howard is a linebacker trying to cover a tight end. Did not get any help from number 23, Ed Scott, who is a corner man or a safety man. But he has so many weapons. All right, there's Howard trying to stay with him. Howard throwing that right arm in there, trying to knock the ball loose, and that's about all he could do. And that man you just seen come in the picture, that's Scott, who never got there.
Well, I'll tell you, the fortunes of football, Paul, looked a few minutes ago like the Express were going in to tie up this, or not tie it up, but to make this a 3-point game. The pass was intercepted in the end zone, and Tampa Bay has just completed an 80-yard drive with the extra point. 24 for the Bandits, 7 for the LA Express. That's our score from the Coliseum. Back in a moment. Zenonand decision about to kick off again for the Tampa Bay Bandits, scoring moments ago, and a touchdown pass to Larry Brodsky, who's having a great night. We'll detail that in a moment. Again, it's Androsition short, picked up at the 16-yard line by Dwayne Gunn. Gunn gets away from a couple of people. Excellent field position for Frank Sire and company at the 37.
I think that they've got to get someone on the team, or find someone that can kick the ball off. Zennon can kick field goals. He can punt. He does everything. But watch when he kicks. His leg stops. He doesn't get the oomph in the ball. Watch his right leg when he kicks. See how high it goes. See it? It goes to his waist and stops there. There's no follow-through, and he gets the ball to like the 15-yard line. We've got 2 people down. We've got an LA Express man down and a Tampa Bay Bandit down.
All right, we'll see who the injured parties are and fill you in a moment. 1:58 to go in the 3rd quarter, 24-7 Tampa Bay. The Los Angeles Express have given up an awful lot of points in the 4th period of play, and they can't afford to do that if they're going to come back in this game.
And, well, the reason we don't have the replay on Rule getting hurt here is because this was away from the play, away from the ball. They're bringing the stretcher out again. LA has had, and we've talked about it, Tom, and you can't dwell on it, they've had so many injuries to this football team. And again, let me repeat that they cannot go out and get players because they're supported by the league and they have to play with what they have.
You know who this really must go? Of course, nobody likes to see a player hurt, Paul, but you've got Don Klosterman, who is running this franchise out here, and he has to feel bad not only for Rule but for the franchise, because you're right, he can't go out and get players. This team is being supported by the league, by assessments to the other owners around the league. It is something that's been well documented because they haven't drawn well out here in their existence, and all sorts of talk that they might move out to the San Fernando Valley if they can get a buyer next year. But the league owners meeting last Monday really put a vote of confidence in LA because they value the television market. They're going to support this team.
Tommy, I'll just tell you now, why I don't like to see what I'm seeing here is because when they do that, it looks to me like something neck and back because they're not moving Clay at all. And look at this, they're going to slide it underneath them.
Taking every precaution. Of course, as soon as we can get an update on Clay Rule's condition, we'll give it to you.
I want to hear him come back and say concussion. That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear anything else.
Paul, you played this game for a long time, and the thing is, you just don't know when something like this can happen. There's no way to predict it. Football's a hard-hitting game, and while they're tending to Clay Rule... Welcome back to the LA Memorial Coliseum. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire, and there you're looking at Clay Rule, the young man. He is blinking his eyes, but that's the only part of his body that's moving, Paul, and we can only hope for the sake of he and any of his family that may be watching that it's not a serious injury, but they've told him not to move anything.
That's right. They just tell them all those straps are everything is precaution, and there's Mel Gray, who's got confirmed concussion. He's out for the rest of the game, and we'll get you the word as soon as we get it. You'll have it.
That's enough to really make you sick if it's indeed a serious injury. We hope not, and we'll get word as soon as we can. Meanwhile, back to the game. 2nd down and 12, and Sire rolls right, and he finds a receiver out there. That is Kirby Warren. Warren's not going to get anywhere. He's tackled around the 35-yard line. Doug Bedoin in the ball game now makes the stop. A neck injury for sure as we look at Clay Rule. It is a neck injury, but nothing confirmed as to the severity or the type of neck injury, and we'll let you know at home as soon as we know.
All right, they've tried 2 little short passes in this series of downs. It's now 3rd down and 9, and nothing's happened.
26 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter as Sire back in the shotgun. Frank steps up a bit in the pocket, looking down long for Dwayne Gunn. Dwayne reached for it, but he was double covered over there very nicely. Marcus Quinn had him, and Mike Thurman also was on the coverage. Incomplete pass with 13 seconds to go in the stanza, and that'll mean Jeff Partridge comes on to kick it away.
2 things now. Gunn, first of all, he's looking at the ball, and he's worried about being in bounds. I don't think he'd have made it in bounds with this catch because look at his right foot would have been out, but you still have to catch the football, and that ball hit him right in the hand. That was a good pass.
Jeff Partridge back to punt, back to receive for the Tampa Bay Bandits. Alvin Bailey is back there along with I have a new man back there for Tampa Bay. Is Bruce Vaughn? Okay, Vaughn back there. Short punt. They're going to let this bounce at the 32. Takes a Tampa Bay bounce, and somebody reaches up and grabs it, and I believe that's Marcus Quinn who reached up and grabbed that punt. So the Tampa Bay Bandits will have excellent field position as the clock shows 2 seconds to go in our 3rd period of play. Kevin Turner makes the tackle for the LA Express. Ball at the 32-yard line. Ball is ready for play. The clock runs, and that will end the 3rd period of play from the LA Coliseum. The Tampa Bay Bandits have things their own way. Tampa Bay 24, Los Angeles 7. Tampa Bay Bandits putting the ball in play to start the 4th period. It is John Reeves looking for Marvin Harvey, the tight end, but I believe that's going to be called an incomplete pass over the 35-yard line as David Howard was on him. Now they call that complete. All right, they call it complete. Let's take a look.
Well, the offensive line, just take a look at the blocking in that line. There's Newton blocking out there. That's Reggie Smith also blocking. Newton is on a Chica. And then here's the pass to the outside to Harvey. He goes down, takes the ball. That's a good catch. That's a good catch. He fell on. He had his hands underneath it. Okay. I thought that they would be running the football because last week they held it for 10 minutes in the 4th quarter.
Angle, I saw that play. It looked like A, either fumbled it or B, it was incomplete, but it was a good catch, and he just let the ball go. That's after the catch and after the whistle. Gary Anderson takes the handoff, and he'll rumble for a couple of yards on that play over the 37 to the 38-yard line. Georgia Chica on the tackle. Anderson tonight, 16 carries, 48 yards. You know, when the Bandits get Anderson to have 100 yards total as a rusher and a receiver, I think there's something like 15-1. And when he has over 100 yards rushing the football, they also have a very good record of 6-0 this year when he's done that. He is 52 yards away from that 100 mark as a rusher. It'll be interesting to get his receiving stats and add them up. Reeves to Anderson. Ball is thrown low. Gary can't make the catch. Dwight Drain and Andy Mellentree over there.
Reeves is down. That was Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver was in his face.
Now Gary Anderson as Steve Spurrier looks on from the sideline. Anderson has 42 yards receiving, so he has accounted for 90 total yards tonight as Zenon Anderson comes in for a rare punting duty. Standing back at his own 20 is Dwayne Gunn in single safety. Anderson gets it off. Short punt. Gunn gathers it in at the 27-yard line, hits the dirt, and that's where the LA Express will take over. First down and 10.
I'm watching Zenon Anderson. Now, you see punters. Now, watch his right leg. Now, watch the extension on it. Here it comes. This was a short punt. There was no height on the ball. Watch where his leg goes. Not bad extension, but if you compare him to a guy like Ray Guy, it goes up over the back shoulder when Guy kicks it. I mean, but he just doesn't seem to have all that oomph in the ball. They even told Zenon when he was kicking off.
Okay, now the playoffs are only a few weeks away. We'll go into it in a second. 8 teams will make the playoffs, including the conference champions and the conference runner-ups, and then the 4 teams with the next 4 best records. And they will come in order of record, not in order of their standing in the conference. Here is an interception by Bruce Vaughn. Sire looking for JoJo Townsell. Vaughn comes up with the interception. First and 10 Tampa Bay at the 44-yard line. Let's go over that playoff thing again. Now, 8 teams will make the playoffs in the USFL. Of course, it's an 18-week season. Both your conference champions in the Eastern and Western Conference will go. Both the conference runner-ups will go, so that's 4 teams. The remainder of the 4 teams will all be thrown in together, and the 4 records, the 4 best records after that, regardless of what conference they come from, will go. So there you have it, the top 2 teams in each conference and the next 4 best records. They'll start the playoffs. I hope you can understand that.
I understand.
All right. First and 10 for Tampa Bay after Vaughn's interception. They have it on their own 44-yard line. Things are looking awfully good for the Bandits and their fans. Greg Boone runs into Ben Rudolph after a gain of a yard or 2. Tampa Bay, Paul, maybe just trying to run this thing out, let the clock run down.
Well, I got to get some first downs. They're inside of 12.5 minutes. Wouldn't it be ironic? Would it be ironic if the Tampa Bay Bandits and the Denver Gold played for the championship in the Meadowlands?
Yes, it would. Bandits, I know that John Bassett, for obvious reasons, would like nothing better than to go into the Meadowlands and win the title there and wave bye-bye to the USFL and saying, hey, you know, I'm a very good football team and you're going to miss me. Of course, there's a long road to cross before that eventuality could come about. Reeves looking for Brodsky. Brodsky double covered on the play, passes over his head. No way Larry could haul that one in. Ed Scott, right cornerback, was one of the men in that area. Of course, the Bandits next week will be at Jacksonville. Their next home game will be against Donald Trump's New Jersey Generals at the Tampa Stadium.
There's 300 yards for Mr. Reeves, and look at total yards for LA, 161. That's almost twice as much. Almost twice as much. I can still divide.
Well, the Express, Paul, you know, the offense has been weak all year long, and a lot of that can be laid off to injury and the fact that they can't go out and get people like the rest of the teams in this league can.
Exactly.
49 sacks. A lot of talent on that line, but what good does it do you if it's on the bench or in the hospital? Reeves straight back to throw. He's under pressure now from Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver. The football is loose, and what's going to happen here? LA players say they have it. The officials say they have it. Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver, number 61, really made that play happen. Ray Cattage appears to be the man who covered the football. So the Express have it in Tampa Bay territory.
All right. Let's see. Daniel Newton, he's lined up right there on top of Weaver. And look at, that was Smith that was on top of Weaver. He just goes right around him, and when he goes by Reeves, he just pulls the ball out, and there it goes Cattage. Here it comes. Just take a look at it. He knocks the ball out of his hands. Reeves turns around. He's looking for the ball. The ball's right in front of him. You can't see it. There it is. Too late. Cattage gets it.
So first and 10 for Frank Sire, the LA Express in Tampa Bay territory at the 40. They trail it 24-7. Sire got some time, gets it out in the left flat, finds his man. That's Kirby Warren. Warren is close to the first down marker. I believe he will be short. We'll have to wait and see where the ball is spotted. James Harrell brings him down.
I hate to keep talking about one man, but Alonzo Johnson, that time, he missed Warren. Then he got back up and made the tackle. You talk about a quick, hustling linebacker. That man there plays the game every single play.
Alonzo Johnson, he is a good one. He is from Florida A&M University, where they produce a lot of very good football players in Tallahassee. Had 7 tackles a week ago. He earns his money.
He had a lot more than that tonight, I can tell you.
2nd down and 1.
Oh, now they move.
Mike Durrett, right guard.
I want to play. No.
You don't recommend that with the helmets on, do you?
No. I mean, we're going to hit him.
Nowhere legal.
You don't hit him in the face.
False start. Number 60 on the offense. Still 2nd down.
It's Mike Durrett, 4th-year man from West Virginia, on a false start.
And when they do a big fight like that, you know, and everybody kind of breaks out, what you're supposed to do is you get behind the head coach. Make sure you have your helmet on, and you yell at everybody over him. Because no one is going to hit a head coach because they may get traded to him or picked up by the coach. So the other team would never hit him. So you hide behind him and do all the yelling and screaming you want to do from a good advantage where you can see everything.
Little unknown facts of professional football that you've never known. The mind of a man who's been through a lot of Pro Wars, Paul McGuire. I'll keep that in mind. Here is Kirby Warren. Nice run by Warren up the middle, and he has the first down. Kirby broke a couple of tackles on that play. Finally in there to get him was James Harrell along with Tony Office. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Express at the Tampa Bay 28.
All right, here it is. They're just killing Nordgren in the middle. They double team. They set him up on one side and then crack back on the other side with Kennard, number 70. Look at this. On the right of your screen. And then here's the play right up the middle. That's Harrell helping out on the tackle. And Office is there, number 52 also.
Time is of the essence for the Express. There's still lots of time left, 10:44, but they trail by 17 points. And this is Kevin Nelson. Nelson got away from a couple of men. Nordgren had him wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Nelson got away. Bruce Vaughn finally makes the tackle at the 24-yard line.
Freddie Nordgren, is he something? Watch this man. Here he goes. He hits in now. And then he's going to go out and chase. He's down. He's still, look at, he's crawling and fighting.
Well, this is his part of the country, at least the same time zone. He played his college ball at Portland State, did Freddie. Gain of 3 for Nelson at 2nd down and 7. David Hersey, the H-back, is in the slot to the left. He'll probably go in motion. He has been most of the night.
Coming into trips now.
And Gordon Hudson, the man in motion this time. Sire rolling left. Uses Nelson as a blocking back. Tries to hit Hersey. Hersey has Harrell out there, but Mr. Hersey should have caught that football.
Kevin Nelson made a nice block that time on Alonzo Johnson coming in. But Alonzo Johnson, as he was coming in, even though he knew he was going to be blocked, he still got his arms up in the air to try to knock the ball down.
Let's take another look at that again and watch number 3. Well, I guess we don't have a look at it. 2nd down, make it 3rd down and 7 coming up.
Here it comes.
Express.
Look out to the outside. Now you're going to see Alonzo Johnson with his hand up in the air. Now this ball was on Hersey. Harrell was getting there. Hits him in the hands. You can't help that. You should charge that incompletion to the receiver.
Chris Haynes, new wide receiver into the ball game, split out wide to the bottom part of your screen. Townsell and Hudson both split to the top. Sire from the shotgun looks for his man, and that is Hudson, the tight end. Incomplete. Dwayne Anderson on the coverage. It'll be 4th down.
There's a lot of infighting down there. You know that? I thought you're not allowed to bump after 5 yards, are you?
Not that I know of.
Well, they do a lot of bumping there. A lot of bumping.
Well, now we have an interesting situation. 4th down and 7. You're deep in the other team's territory, but you're down 24-7, so no field goal here. The Express going to go for it.
Oh, no, and especially when you only won 3 games.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Gunn and Townsell are the wideouts. We're going to have an interesting finish. I think they got to connect on this play and get the first down. 3rd and 7.
He's got time. He's got money.
He does. He finds his man, Kevin Nelson. Penalty flags all over the place. Nelson is dragged down by Sankar Montoot. Nelson has the first down, but hold everything. Did he get it legally or not?
Holding. 26 on the defense. The penalties decline. First down.
Dwayne Anderson called for holding, so the penalty obviously will be declined. And Paul, the Express are threatening 1st and 10 on the 12.
Well, the clock's against the wire. Here we go. There's Al Richardson. Is that? No, that's Sankar Montoot is the man. I didn't see the holding downfield. Montoot is the man, number 55, that was covering on Kevin Nelson. He almost got picked off in the middle there. That's tough coverage for a linebacker.
There's your old buddy, John Hadel. Doesn't change his expression much during the game, does it?
Right next to him is Sam Greneisen, another old teammate.
Gordon Hudson in motion. 1st and 10 for LA from the 12. Kirby Warren on the give up the middle. Warren will pick up maybe a yard or two. Sankar Montoot hit him again. 2nd down about 8. Freddie Norgren also in there. He's in almost everything up the middle. Hard to move him.
All right, here we go again. There's Sankar Montoot. He's just filling the gap. That's good fill right there by the linebacker. He just read right up the middle and went for it.
So call it a gain of 2 yards down to the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Gordon Hudson came over the sideline and said something to the offensive people down on the field. And I just wonder if he wants to play, if they're going to go to Gordon Hudson.
Well, let's watch and see. He's lined up at the tight end of the right. Downzell, the only wide receiver. Sire got some pressure coming from the rear. He better get rid of it. He doesn't, and down he goes. Frank Sire. Is that Freddie Norgren on top of him? You bet your boopy it is. It's Freddie Norgren.
They were looking at Hudson. Hudson had one-on-one coverage by Dwayne Anderson, and here comes Sire, and Norgren's going to eventually get in it. You see 68 there. You don't think he's going to get there? It'll take time. Look at Sire. He was looking out to the outside. Here comes Norgren, and he was looking for Gordon Hudson. Here comes Hudson. Now look at he's being covered on the outside. I thought that's Doug Bedoin, number 28, that was covering him. And if the ball was thrown to the outside, might have had a chance. But when you're back there fighting all that traffic, it's tough to see.
Loss of 8 on the sack. 3rd down and 16. Ball back to the 18-yard line. Sire lofting it over the middle. He's got a touchdown. Touchdown to Dwayne Gunn. A little timing pass. He just lofted it back. He threw that ball over his back foot, and Gunn beat Bruce Vaughn for the touchdown.
You know, this was not set up beautifully, but the way they ran the play, because they had no one else in the middle of the field, they knew that they had Gunn one-on-one on Vaughn. The blitz is on. Everyone's coming. There's Montoot coming in. And take a look. There's no one. You won't see anybody in the middle of the field. And once Gunn catches the ball, there's just nobody there. They ran everything to the left, all the patterns to the left. Gunn goes down the middle, little slant pattern, touchdown.
First catch tonight for Dwayne Gunn, and it's a meaningful one. 18-yard touchdown receptions, and Dejas on to attempt the extra point. Snap is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. 7:54 to go in this ball game. Our score: Tampa Bay Bandits 24, and the Los Angeles Express are right back in it now with 14.
There's old Dwayne Gunn.
Yeah, Dwayne Gunn bringing the people to their feet here in the Coliseum. And Dejas prepares to kick off back at the Coliseum. Paul McGuire, I would think if the Tampa Bay Bandits had lost interest in this game with a 17-point lead and with Frank Sire in there for Steve Young, they're very interested now.
Yeah, they sure are. There's, almost 8 minutes to go in this game. And L.A., they've got the receivers to get deep, and they can score. They better put that 8-minute drive together now.
Walter Holman and Alvin Bailey are both deep for Zendejas kickoff. They're standing at the Tampa Bay 5. It is 24-14. Sire to Gunn on a touchdown pass. This is Holman. Walter Holman, flag on the play, and Holman is over the 25 to the 29-yard line. But let's see the result of the penalty marker to see if the Bandits will have the field position there, or will it be better or worse?
Just saw another flag thrown just a moment ago, right next to the one down by. There's one on the 21 and there's one on the 26. But that one just came after the play was called dead.
Took that one longer to get there, up in the air.
Illegal block above the waist. Number 58 on the receiving team. 1st down.
Well, the guilty party, Alonzo Johnson, illegal block above the waist, so that'll march the Tampa Bay Bandits back deep in their own territory.
They got to explain that better. You're allowed to block anybody above the waist.
Is it an illegal block?
Above the waist?
Above the waist.
No. You're allowed to block a guy above the waist.
From behind.
He didn't say from behind. See, that's what they've got to say. Got to say from behind. Illegal block above the waist, from behind, in the back, right where his name is.
For those of you who saw that injury to Clay Rule, the LA Express, we're still trying to find out exactly what's wrong with him. We don't have an update to nothing new yet. There's some sort of neck injury, that's all we know, and as soon as we do know, we'll let you know. Pitch out to Gary Anderson. 1st down for the Tampa Bay Bandits from the 11-yard line, and Anderson is over the 15 to the 16, 17-yard line. So a gain of 5 or 6 yards on that play for Anderson. Fletcher, Jenkins, and Eddie Weaver on the tackle.
You know, we look at this. He's at 97 yards now. He'll get his 100 total yardage running and pass receiving. But Gary Anderson, when you watch him run, and that was a toss, you see a lot of backs will try to carry that toss out a long way. As soon as he sees anybody break off his area to the outside, he'll cut right back to the inside.
Mel Gray, who has been sitting on the bench for a time, he does have a concussion. He's being wheeled off. He's sitting on the bench, apparently felt that it was time to go to the locker room. He was injured a few moments ago as well. Anderson, short of the first down at the 19-yard line. So bring up a 3rd and 2. So the Bandits with a 10-point lead, clock running, 6:27 and running. Ben Rudolph and Howard Carson on the tackle. Tampa Bay not wanting to get cute here in their own territory, Paul. They don't want to risk a turnover.
No, because L.A. has been putting a lot of heat on them. But see, when the game changes, so you understand, you say, well, why they ran some good plays earlier, why aren't they running them now? L.A. knows that they're going to try and keep the ball on the ground. This is not a passing down. This is still a running down because of the situation. They have that 10-point lead. They'll probably throw.
We'll find out. Reeves on a long count, has 3 seconds to get the play off. He does to Gary Anderson. Flag on the play. Anderson over the 20. He may or may not be where the first down marker is, but let's find out what the flag was for.
Holding, number 86 on the offense.
Jerry Price, the tight end, and so the Express will take that play. Or will they? Do they want to measure it to see if it's 4th down? Howard Carson looking over to see what the decision is.
Now, where's 86? We're going to see him on the right of the screen. All right, there is the holding, and that's Andy Mellentry. And Mellentry strings it out. Even though Matt Mellentry was holding, he still did a job.
Well, the penalty's been refused because it is 4th down. Gary Anderson did not have the first down. And you would think that Zenon Anderson would come on to punt, and he will. We have 5:49 left to go in this game, and the Tampa Bay Bandits nursing a 10-point lead. I've seen a lot of strange things happen in 5:49. Dwayne Gunn caught that touchdown pass standing in single safety at the 38.
You bet. And Sayre's throwing the ball well. They just dropped a couple of them on him.
Anderson gets it up high. This one turns over nicely. Gunn putting his arm out for a fair catch at the 37-yard line with 5:33 to go in the ball game. Tampa Bay leads it. Los Angeles is also 3-7, and they have the football. 1st and 10 of their own 38 after the Zenon Anderson punt, trailing by 10 with under 6 minutes to go. The pass from Sayre to Hersey. Hersey had it, then gave ground, trying to pick up the first down. He's down at the 44. Freddie Norgren making the tackle.
Did that tell you about Freddie Norgren hustling? Now, he's on a pass rush, and then he sees the ball thrown, doesn't stop, turns around and comes back and makes a tackle downfield.
Ball marked just over the 43-yard line, gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Dwayne Gunn and JoJo Townsell, the wide receivers, and that's Hersey in motion, and back he comes the other way. And the give is to the running back, Kevin Nelson. Nelson waits for the traffic to clear, and he is near the first down. I don't believe he got it. He needed to get to the 48-yard line. May have been just short before he was knocked back by James Ramey and Ron Simmons.
I think he might have it. You're right. He does. Watch what Nelson does here now. He's a good runner. He looks. That hole's not there yet. All right, it's starting to close. Let's move around a little bit and see where there is a hole. There is a hole right there, and he goes up. Tony Office number 52 makes a hit, and I think, well, he's according to one on the other side, but that isn't the true marker that's on this side. He may have the first down by.
All right, got a good spot, Paul.
By the nose.
And just by the nose of the football, so it is 1st and 10 for the LA Express up at their own 48-yard line. 4:26 to go in this football game. And there's Steve Spurrier, who's got to be a bit worried about things. Certainly it's not the cushion he had a few moments ago.
No, and I think they got a little too conservative in the game. They, when you've got a team down, just don't stop. I say this all the time. Don't stop doing the things that got you to 24.
It's interesting, Paul. Steve Young benched in the second half by John Hadel, but the truth is he was not moving his football team, and Frank Sayre has been.
Look at that blocking.
Sayre straight back to throw, going long down the right sideline, looking for Gunn. Dwayne Gunn in and out of his hands. On the coverage was Bruce Vaughn, and Gunn had a step on him, and Sayre put it right there.
Well, the thing about it is, Gunn did not have a step on him until he ran and outran the football. Gunn and Vaughn is reaching. Gunn at the end almost makes a great catch for a touchdown because at one point now he's running side by side. Vaughn is running side by side with Gunn, but watch that last little spurt right here at the end. Now watch him. He'll cut back in front and outrun the football. That's a great play by Gunn. He went just a little bit too far inside. Sire's got an arm.
Yes, he does. And he may have thrown that a bit earlier than he wanted to. Alonzo Johnson was putting on some heavy pressure. Here is Kirby Warner, the pitch out, and Tony Office brings him down just over midfield. And we have a flag on this play.
Now what?
Flag back at the Los Angeles 46.
Illegal motion, number 80 on the offense.
They refuse that, baby.
Penalties decline.
Thank you.
Third down.
Well, Clay Rule is being kept here at the stadium, and they are x-raying his neck. That is the area where he was injured, but their x-rays have not been processed, and we don't have any complete diagnosis as yet.
Okay, now we got the nickel back situation. 5 defensive backs, 2 linebackers, and 4 down linemen. Townsell and Gunn remain as your wide receivers. Clock running. It's a factor. 3:40 to go in this football game. Express 3rd and 8 at midfield. Sire over the middle to Hersey. Hersey again giving ground after the catch, and he's brought down at the Tampa Bay 49. Now, he didn't have the first down when he caught the ball, Paul, but Montoot brings him down. That's the second time Hersey, as the clock continues to run, Hersey is given ground after the catch. Well, he had no chance to turn upfield that time because they were coming after him. You're running, you remember now, he's running full speed left to right. And when that happens to you, it's tough to turn upfield. Just take a look at it now. Here he comes underneath, right? Now, the turn up, he sees Office there. He sees Montoot there. And it's a great play by Montoot, but he tried to give a little ground to pick up some ground. Now we're in 4th down situation.
Yeah, this is the game for the Express. Out of the shotgun, Sire. He needs a 6-yard completion to pick up the first down.
Well, he's had all day to throw the ball, too.
And he has it again, and he throws, and it is in and out of the hands of a couple of people. First of all, Dwayne Gunn had a shot at it. Then Bruce Vaughn, who was in the area, had a shot at it. Nobody gets it, and Tampa Bay takes over. Marcus Quinn was the man in the area, too.
I think Xantar Montoot is the guy that really gets his hand in there. You'll see him come flying by right there. When he gets his hand up, he might have ticked the ball a little bit, but that ball hit Gunn in the gut.
Yep.
We got another LA man down.
We'll be back to check out and see who it is in a moment. 2:43 left to go from the Coliseum. It's getting late for the Express. They trail by 10. Look at it again.
Well, he's the man that's going to dive after the ball when Dwayne Gunn drops the ball here. Now, there's Gunn. Here comes Hudson. Now, what does he do?
Well, he fell down on his own, and there, well, Marcus Quinn came in. Might have jammed some ribs or a hip or whatever.
You know, I'm not laughing at what Hadel has got to be going crazy. He's losing everybody on his football team. Johnson, you know, he's looking for volunteers now. Now you put an ad in the paper.
You know, a few weeks ago, Paul, there was a situation in an NBA playoff game. The Phoenix Suns had to come into Los Angeles, play the Lakers. They only had 8 healthy bodies. Now, the Lakers are tough enough to play with 12. They had to go out with 8. They did the best job they could, but the truth is they never had a chance, and their management knew it. The same type of feelings have to be going on with the LA Express, because they can't go out and get anybody, and they don't have a chance really when they lose good people like they've been losing tonight.
Exactly, and you've got to give this team a lot of credit because they fight back, and they even in that game in Denver when they lost 51-0, they don't quit.
Well, they've got the stretcher out there for Gordon Hudson. Clay Rule, some sort of neck injury. We're still trying to update you on that, but it's a neck injury. They've had the x-ray gone, carried off on a stretcher, and Gordon Hudson gone.
You know, we did a game in Denver a few weeks ago where they lost 2 players, Bodie,
right,
and an offensive lineman. They lost 2 players on one play.
Well, Tony Bodie, the excellent running back, is gone. Joe Lukens.
It was the other guy.
Well, they have the wrap around both shoulders, so it would appear to be a shoulder injury. We'll try to get an update for you before we leave the air. Meanwhile, back to the game. 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay on their own 48-yard line, and no gain on this play for the Bandits. Gary Anderson. You know, when things are going right, things are going right. Tampa Bay's on the field hitting just as hard as the other guys, and they haven't had but 1 minor injury tonight. There is good news for those who follow the fortunes of the LA Express. We have heard from the locker room that Clay Rule, the young man who had an injured neck, he's had it x-rayed, but apparently the doctors tell us it is not serious, and that is excellent news. Not serious. Greg Boone, meanwhile, takes the handoff from John Reeves. The Bandits just trying to run the clock out. 2:29, the clock is running. Georgia Chica makes the tackle. You know, it's...
LA takes another timeout.
LA taking their second timeout.
It takes them down to 1, but actually they have 2 because of the 2-minute rule. So you actually get 4.5.
2:22 left to go.
Bone. So that left femur. so that means he's out.
Well, Hudson is gone, and with a fractured left femur, he is gone for probably a year. Rule said his arm was numb. That's why they strapped him down, and that's why they took x-rays around the neck area. Pardon me, John Reeves looking for Spencer Jackson, and he has him. Jackson just took that ball out of the arms of Ed Scott. He is short. Rather, I'm sorry, Jackson.
Well, you're right, Ed Scott, but Jackson took the ball out of Ed Scott after he caught the football, after he went out of bounds.
All right.
Now, I don't know if we're going to see a red flag on this deal or not.
It looked for all the world like Spencer Jackson had a pass completion there.
I don't know why you're throwing a ball anyway, but just take a look at it. All right, here comes Scott and Jackson. Now, if it's a tie, it goes to the offense. Now, Scott has the ball. Now, watch. He has the ball. He goes out of bounds with the ball, and then Jackson takes the ball away there. It's L.A. ball.
All right, from that angle, we could see on the live action of the naked eye, it appeared that Spencer Jackson had the reception. Meanwhile, Frank Sires dragged down for a huge loss. Is that Ramey or Clark? That's James Ramey, number 78, reserve defensive end out of Kentucky.
Look at Sire, and this is also in the grasp and almost losing your arm. Take a look at it. Almost had a face mask, and now he grabs Sire by the arm and shoulder. And look at right over the top. That's Norgren. Here they go again.
Sire gets this pass away. Oh! Being nailed going after that football for Los Angeles is Kenny O'Neill. 1:57 to go in this game. 2-minute warning in effect. Back with more in a moment.
Was that Harrell, number 50? Yep. Yeah, it's Harrell. Just put him away. There were 3 linebackers there. There was Alonzo Johnson, Tony Office, and James Harrell. And O'Neill will not go into that area again.
Third down, 26 yards to go. 1:57 left in this game. Tampa Bay leading by 10. LA Express with the ball. Frank Sire, he and Young together have been sacked 6 times tonight. They got to feel a little bit gun-shy, too.
Well, here comes the defensive line. They're just teeing off and going, and they're coming after him.
Yeah, look at Sire out of the shotgun. He may have to run it. No, he'll find a receiver in the middle of the field, and it's almost intercepted. Sire had to throw that ball sidearm. Intended receiver was David Hersey. And Marcus Quinn was in the area roaming around.
Yeah, you know, that defensive line, Sire knows that they're going to tee off and just go, and the offensive line also knows that. Here they come, and they have no run responsibility whatsoever. Sire breaks out. He's running to his left and trying to throw back to Hersey on the other side of the field. This is a tough enough pass when you can set up, but when you're on the run to do it, look at this. It's behind Hersey. He touches the ball, almost picked off by Mike Thurman, number 34.
Fourth down and 26 yards to go for the Express. 1:49 left, and obviously they have to go for it, trailing by 10. Here comes the rush again. Ron Simmons puts some heat on. Sire gets it away. He's got Hersey near midfield. It's not a first down, though. Tampa Bay will take over at the LA 47. Marcus Quinn on the coverage and the tackle, and the expression on Frank Sire says it all. What are you going to do?
That's it. Game's over. Game time.
1:40 left, and Tampa Bay up by 10, and Los Angeles has only 1 timeout left, and got a feel for John Hadel, not because he's losing the ball game. This team has lost several games this year, but the reason they've lost, one of the big ones, is his injury, as Steve Spurrier sends Jimmy Jordan into the game now at quarterback.
James Jordan.
Jimmy Jordan.
Like Opie.
Well, he's a former All-American at Florida State. I had the good fortune to see him and Wally Woodham. Sort of a 2-headed monster for Bobby Bowden there in their Orange Bowl years at FSU. Jordan was drafted by the New England Patriots and lasted till the last cut, and he's found a new life in the USFL, at least with the Tampa Bay Bandits, who, of course, are leaving the league after this year. Walter Holman helping to run the clock down. I don't know if John Hadel will call a timeout. Yes, he will. The LA Express is going to use up. That answers the question. Their last timeout.
And it was a neck injury at the time, but the x-rays proved at this time anyway that he's going to be all right, and that is the best news that anyone can hear.
So the Tampa Bay Bandits will win this game. They will go to 8-3, and for the moment be all alone atop the Eastern Conference, a half game ahead of the New Jersey Generals, who have a game tomorrow with Jacksonville. And we understand a huge crowd is expected at the Gator Bowl for that game. Advance sale of well over 50,000. The give again is to Walter Holman. Los Angeles Express, Paul, they will go to 3-8. We'll see him on next week at Oakland. The standings as of this moment, with this victory, Tampa Bay a half a game ahead of New Jersey. Birmingham upset by Memphis last night on ESPN. The Showboats are still in it. Jacksonville is still in it, of course. And we take a look at the Western Conference. Houston will have, right now they have a half-game lead over Oakland. Houston will be on ESPN Monday night at Portland. Oakland 6-3-1, followed by Denver in the gold, even though they don't draw very well in Denver, Paul. They have one excellent team.
Yes, they do, and it's a shame they don't draw well, because they are playing good football. Old Miles Davis got them humping.
Sure does. Get the ball. And the give again is to Holman in the backfield. I believe he's got a first down. Of course, a lot of people in Denver, and I spoke with Doug Spedding, who was the other owner who did not vote to go to the fall, feel that the decision to go to the fall may have been one of the main reasons why attendance is down in Denver. Attendance not down for that man, Steve Spurrier in Tampa.
They get a lot of people down there, don't they?
They sure do. Average over 46,000 people a game.
Oh, John. John, you're doing the best with what you got, man. Keep your head up.
Clock running, 39 seconds left. Tampa Bay 24, Los Angeles Express 14. Jordan not going to throw a pass. He gives to Joel Blunk, and Blunk is inside the 40 to 37-yard line.
That'll do it.
And Chica makes the tackle. Clock is running with 27 seconds to go, and Tampa Bay doesn't have to snap the football again. However, we have the clock being stopped with 19 seconds left to go.
Well, they got another injury to L.A.
That's all they need, right? 52, that's Andy Mellentree. Third-year man out of Baylor. Looks to be just maybe an ankle sprain.
No, he's all right. He's shaking it off. Now they penalize.
We will take 10 seconds off the clock, then we'll start the game.
Well, they called it.
Game clock, please.
They called a timeout. It was their fourth timeout. You're only allowed 3.5, so the penalty is not in yardage, Paul, but 10 seconds wiped off the clock, and really it doesn't mean anything now.
No, they didn't have to run a play anyway.
Yep. So for the record, there are 9 seconds left. And all Jimmy Jordan, we're going to see the famous fall down on the ball trick.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, let's see what happens here. It's all a matter of record now.
We'll run a play.
Well, the give for the record is to Holman, and that'll be it. Our final score from the Los Angeles Coliseum. Tampa Bay Bandits win it. Tampa Bay 24, Los Angeles Express 14 as Steve Spurrier walks off the field. Paul, an excellent effort for Tampa Bay. They put this game away early and held on.
Yeah, and they look like they're going to be strong, maybe get to the championship.
Well, coming up on ESPN, more live action for you. Monday night, Houston Gamblers at Portland, live at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. The next Saturday, a doubleheader coming your way. LA Express will be at the Oakland Invaders, live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific time, and then live from Birmingham, Alabama at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. Portland Breakers against the Birmingham Stallions. 3 games for the next week live right here on ESPN. The final again, Tampa Bay 24, Los Angeles 14. For Paul McGuire, this is Tom Mee saying so long from the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.